The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. So obviously the heavy conversation today is about the Jet loss yesterday, Zach Wilson's play or bad play, and the whole city is talking about it. Back page of the Post, Flop Wilson, which I think pretty much eliminated half of the readers, Don, because I asked our 37-year-old stat maven, do you know what that means? He had no idea because he never heard of Flip Wilson.
That's
but
right.
It was a nice try for people of our age.
Well, even slightly, I don't remember it live, but I do know who Flip Wilson is. But I did not. I was too young to watch it.
Right.
But I devour a lot of information.
Yes, you do. And I'm sure this our next guest, our good friend, he knows who Flip Wilson is, and he's the Hall of Famer. Joe Namath, who had very interesting comments on social media yesterday, so we asked him if he'd come on, and he said he would. Joe, it's Michael and Don. Great to talk to you. How you doing?
Fellas, I'm doing well, and it's good to be with you. Really, I'm looking forward to talking with you.
All right, so let's obviously the big point of discussion today is about Zach. Let's start with a quasi-positive, Joe. Did you take anything positive out of his performance yesterday?
You know, you talking about Flip, you got me thinking about Geraldine. You know what? No, I didn't take anything positive out of it yesterday. It was awful.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Were you watching?
Yes.
Was anyone watching? I mean, please. When did you ever see? Well, it's Zach. We'll stay on Zach. You sit down. You sit down on the play. You go right down. What happens? I thought you're trying to win and make plays. You quit on a play. What is going on? It's disgusting.
Well, and you brought up the coaching. How can a coach make things better for Zach?
How can a coach say the locker room's together? How many teams have we been on? Are you telling me there aren't some cats on the defensive side saying, whoa, man, what's wrong with you? Yeah, there's not all harmony in the locker room. And if there is, they need to get rid of the people. You got to get people in there that are competitors and want to fight to win. These guys don't have to be in love with each other. And if they're saying they're in love with each other, they're BSing you. And you got to get rid of them, top to bottom.
What would you, if somebody handed you Zach Wilson and said, okay, Joe, make him better, what would you do?
Send him to Kansas City to back up against somebody like Mahomes, maybe he'd learn something. I wouldn't keep him. You know, I've seen enough of Zach Wilson. All right? I've seen enough. Has quick feet, can throw a little bit, but I don't believe what's going on up there.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that they're saying they believe in him. And they're backing it up, Joe, by not bringing in a veteran quarterback. Well, what could be Joe Douglas's motivation at this point, with the season teetering, of not bringing in somebody that has played in this league before outside of Tim Boyle backing up Zach?
He picked these people. Douglas picked these people.
So he's going to double down?
What's he going to do? Get rid of everybody. What do you got to start over? Mr. Johnson, hey, these guys aren't picking the right players. They're not doing a good job of coaching. It's evident. I mean, you got to look and see. If you have an eye about football at all, you see things are haywire. It's too crazy. They need to fix it, and that's getting rid of a lot of people and bringing new ones in.
All right, so, Joe, let's look at it this way. Obviously, they planned the whole offseason to have Aaron Rodgers, and Robert Saleh was just on with the show and said They catered an offense around Aaron Rodgers. Now they've got to find one for Zach Wilson. Do you buy that? And is that a tough thing to transition into a different offense for Zach Wilson?
How many months ago was that to learn the offense? How many months ago was that? Come on. Now, Aaron, he got hurt. Okay, well, what do you think you have backups there for? They're ready to go. They're supposed to be ready to go. We're looking at an offense that just doesn't play well. You've got an offensive coordinator that doesn't seem to be calling the right plays. I just think for this fan, they need to make major changes from top to bottom. Change.
Does that include the head coach?
Yes.
You think he's part of the problem with Zach?
When he's telling me that locker room's together, when he's telling me these guys love one another, yeah, well, thanks a lot. You can go back to whatever place you learn that stuff, but they're losing. Guys don't like to lose. They're not holding hands when they're losing.
Well, here's a problem, Joe, that I wonder what you would do. Nobody's going anywhere unless Aaron Rodgers says so.
Well, wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers is not coaching the team. He's not Woody Johnson. He's not Christopher Johnson. Come on. And what guarantees are there other than one that worked out? What guarantees are there that Aaron's going to be able to come back? What are you talking about?
You're right, Joe, but you know how organizations are. I mean, this guy wants to come back, and if he wants Robert Saleh to be his coach, if he wants Zach Wilson to be his backup quarterback, they're not in any position to say no because they want him to come back and play.
Well, I don't know that they're not in any position to say no. I don't know the contracts and how they're structured. Maybe they are locked in. But I know one thing, if you're running that team as ownership, you don't lock yourself into that kind of a situation.
Now, in watching him, Joe, him being Zach Wilson, it almost looks like it's not reacting. It's not like using his talents. He's overthinking things, and he's just not letting his talents take over. Are you seeing the same thing as if maybe he's overcoached?
I'm saying I don't believe in him. I don't believe he has a future as a good player, and I think they made a wrong choice when they drafted him. I feel that way. He has some athletic ability, but you've got to have something up here that's, going on whenever you're studying, reading, playing out there, sitting down, throwing the ball. It's ridiculous. You've got the wrong people playing and picking them.
Yeah, it's incredible. There is an arm. There are legs, but is it one of those? Is it? I hate to say it this way, but is this one of the classic, $1 million arm, 10-cent head?
Well, I've never met Zach, so I don't know what's going on between the ears. I only know what I see out there. And it's hard to tell what's going on between a guy's ears. And the mind does play a major role on your team, in your team, and every individual in your team. Whatever position they're playing, they have a duty, they have plays to carry out, and they have to do them with regularity. And he's far from that.
Well, since they don't seem like they're going to make any change, and they seem like they're sticking by him, Joe, is there something they could do with him, like just make him run the ball? Is there anything they could do to salvage a little bit of the season if they're committed to staying with him?
If they're committed to staying with him, and I gather they are because they don't have I don't know how good the backup quarterback is. The one that they traded away would be a good starter, and it will be someday in White. But meantime, the players all collectively have to play better, and they know that. And I guess you don't point your finger at any one guy, but as a fan, I sure do. The guy that handles that ball and has to make decisions, he's got to be right more times than not. And we've been watching him for a couple of years now, and I don't have any confidence in them at all.
Is the offensive line good enough, even if the quarterback was good? Because, look, Rodgers, it took 4 plays, and he's out for the season. Do you not like what you see of the offensive line?
The offensive line, only in the backyard that I ever play that position. To me, they have, I think, the toughest job when it comes to execution against animals like those defensive fronts and linebackers that are coming. The offensive line needs to improve, that's for sure. All the players out there need to improve. But the offensive line...
Do you like Garrett Wilson from what you see of him?
They've got to get better real fast or else it's whatever else. It's going to be a long season no matter what.
Now, you're going to lose the room.
Joe?
I mean, that's just going to happen, especially with the modern-day athlete. They're not going to want to take a knee on a season,
Anthony?
Joe, and Salah's going to lose the room. If you're a veteran in that room, what can you say to try to keep everybody together as the losses start to pile up?
I'm not going to say if these guys are working for a living. You know, they're working for a living. They're professionals. They're getting paid. They better play their butts off because that one-eyed monster called that camera looking at them, evaluating every single move they make out there. That one-eyed monster tells no lies. It doesn't describe it. It shows. Every team around the league are looking at these films or these tapes. They see what the individuals are doing. Now, Mosley, I count on him. I don't think he's going to quit. And I don't think there's a lot of guys out there that are going to quit. On the defense, on the offense, I don't think there are guys going to quit because that's their living. They know they're being judged and evaluated on each play. They're going to try. They're going to try their best to play. They just don't have the talent up front. In my opinion, offensively, at this time, they can develop, and they certainly don't have the talent with the guy that handles the ball every play and has to make the decisions with the offense every single play. They don't have that. They got wide receivers that are outstanding. The defense is pretty darn good. The corner, hey, there's good players on that team.
You know, Joe, I've never heard you this angry. Is this the lowest point for you as a fan of this team?
I think so. I think so. I hate losing the fans, though. I know we hate losing, and we were on teams. I was on teams that lost. It stinks. These players don't like losing. They're trying. Meantime, the coaching, are they getting good coaching? I don't know. It doesn't appear like they are. I mean, calling good plays, and I see running back that wants to run the ball more and, getting in arguments on the sidelines with coaches. Hey, something's up that the players aren't happy with the way they're getting coached.
Mm. Yeah, it's so difficult to make a change during the course of the season. I was mentioning that this is part of the trouble with having a defensive-minded head coach. I mean, it's such an offensive league now. Would things be better if you had an offensive guy as the head coach to at least be able to help the progression of this offense?
I don't think that's the major issue here. I think it is the personnel, and that whether you're a defensive guy like Parcells, who could lead a team to championships, or an offensive guy. No, it's the guys underneath. It's the assistants and the head coach, even in college ball, oversees all of that, and he should be able to recognize what his coaches are doing and convey that to the general manager and go on. But I don't know whether they protect one another or what. But it's awful. It's awful, and it's hurting. I had to smile, though, when the guy spit his teeth halfway out of his mouth yesterday. That's about how most of us felt watching it.
Yeah, 15 straight losses to the Patriots, Joe. I mean, of all teams, too, to lose that many, too. Do you ever remember in your career, whether it was Alabama or with the Jets, that you had a team that just had your number like that?
No, I don't recall that. And I guess if we look at around the league, are there any other teams that have lost 15 straight to an opponent, a division opponent? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, certainly not to someone that seems to hate the Jets as much as Bill Belichick does. It just drives Jets fans crazy. We're talking to Joe Namath after another tough day for the Jets after they lose to the New England Patriots. I got to ask you as an offensive guy, we brought it up earlier in the show. Miami puts up 70 points against Denver. They can line up for a field goal to break the record. They say, we don't want to embarrass Sean Payton. We're not going to kick it. But don't you think at 70 points, you probably embarrassed them already? Would you be tempted to break the record, or do you get what Miami did there?
I get why Miami didn't try to break the record. There is some respect for coaches and players, and how much you want to rub it in. You know, you've put 70 points on the team. You've got them. No, I like that the coach didn't go for the field goal.
I mean, look at just to put up that many points. Just to look at this division, Joe, right? I mean, I think Buffalo's going to be fine. Miami looks like they're legit. It's going to be so difficult, even if the Jets were good, to be able to navigate through some of these good teams in the AFC and even in their own division.
Well, if they were good, that'd make it enjoyable.
Well, that's true.
You know, but they're not good. They don't have the personnel for the most part.
But they're supposed to be talented. I mean, they've got receivers. You really think it's a personnel problem?
I think from the top to the bottom, from general manager to the head coach, down through the system, the way they're running it needs changed.
God, but it's so weird, Joe, because you're not wrong, but at the same time, waiting in the wings, you hope is going to be a healthy Aaron Rodgers next year. How much better do you think this team would be if Rodgers didn't get hurt? Or would they eventually get exposed for all the reasons you're talking?
I have no idea. I just know it would have been better. How much better, I'm not sure. He's the kind of guy that can help out the offensive line, help out the defense just with his decision-making, where he's going with the ball, knowing what's happening. Yeah, you can't compare his leadership to anyone's on the Jets team. I mean, they definitely miss him. He was a major... he was a major warrior to bring in, and we were counting on him. But lady luck, darn it, you know what? You know, man, that's the way it is in life. Life's not always fair, and it's disappointing, and it's a good thing we're just talking about football.
Well, I just wonder. They say sometimes you feel better when you got a chance to talk it out. Do you feel any better after this interview, or worse?
I feel honestly better. Yeah. You know, because I haven't talked to anybody except for my family or my daughter or whatever. I feel better that I have at least got it off my chest and explained my feelings about what's going on.
Well, we're here for you. If any time you want to vent about your Jets, you've got a place here on the Michael K. Show. You know that, right?
Michael, all right, and I'm going to be watching the Jets. I'm not quitting on them. I'm going to watch them, and I'm pulling for them. But, boy, they need to make some changes, and starting with on the field or on the sidelines or upstairs, man. They need to get better.
Well, Joe, try to enjoy the rest of the season. We'll talk to you soon. Stay healthy, man.
All right, we win some games. We'll enjoy it.
All right, that's the great Joe Namath. He wants scorched earth. He wants everybody gone. It's a personnel problem. It's a coaching problem. Listen, if he's right, then where are you going? If you don't have the personnel, which I disagree with, I think that there's talent there. But I don't think he's wrong about the coaching at all, especially from Hackett, trying to find some way to make it work with his quarterback. You just got to find some way. You know, it wasn't impossible that a quarterback that was going to turn 40 in December would be out. And to have some sort of plan B, and for it to take this long to kind of develop that plan B, I just think is an indictment on the team for sure. But the thing is that, you know, I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers runs the team, but I'm saying he runs the team. I mean, he's invested so much, even financially, to be a part of this team. So you're going to have to run it by him. And if he wants Robert Saleh to be his coach, he wants Nathaniel Hackett to be his general manager, and he's happy with the weapons and he's happy with the personnel, then guess what? You're not making any changes. How could you? He's Aaron Rodgers. So we talked about that when he forfeited that $35 million. He kind of becomes your de facto general manager. He's going to want to have a say on how that $35 million is going to be spent. Now, I don't know how he's going to feel about Robert Saleh. Maybe he won't care. Maybe because Robert Saleh is a defensive guy, if Joe Douglas wanted to fire him at the end of the season, and then maybe Rodgers would be okay with that. But I got to tell you one thing, and this wouldn't even be fault of Aaron Rodgers. You think Aaron Rodgers wants to come back at the age of 40, coming back from an Achilles injury, and see the team blown up around him? New coach, new general manager, new personnel? Remember, he said he came here because he liked the Jets. He liked Robert Saleh. He liked their talent. Now, maybe he just said that because there was no place else for him to go. But if he meant that, and he believed that, well, then how the heck, if you're Woody Johnson, do you blow it up? Because Aaron Rodgers is already in the Hall of Fame. So he can turn around and go, all right, we gave it a try with the Jets, didn't work out, I'm just going to retire. Or I'm not going to play for you. Trade me someplace else. So I understand that Joe's old school and he doesn't want the players to act as the general manager and all that. But unfortunately, it's the way it works when you've put so much of an investment into one player and he committed to you financially and you committed to him. You're in a marriage. And I don't know how your marriage works, but my marriage works where you got to run it by each other when you do something like that. So I do not think there's any way, shape, or form that you're going to see the Jets blow this up as much as Joe Namath wants to see that happen. 1-800-919-3776 is the number to call. I want to hear from you. And then at 6 o'clock, we've got Anthony Pusick with an ENN. And when Anthony does an ENN, it's something to stay in tune for. And it is going to be a televised vehicle. It's the K Show. It's all happening on Yes, and right here on 98.7 ESPN New York.
September 19th of 2024. ESPN New York has your chance to score tickets this week on DiPietro and Rothenberg. And right here on the Michael K Show, brought to you by Live Nation. Tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. this Friday, December 1st at Ticketmaster.com. And how about this, guys? Sebastian Maniscalco is going to join us at 4 o'clock next Tuesday.
Oh, that's a big deal.
About that?
Hey, promoting the 2028 and 29 shows?
24.
24, sorry. Yeah.
That's a long way off. I mean, I saw it when I was walking by the garden today. I'm like, God, it's like another era.
You think you'll be alive then?
We hope so.
I'm just saying. I'm asking.
Well, no one can.
You know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I don't think there's much of a shot. Now, what am I supposed to say? But it is weird. I mean, no offense to the people of the garden or Sebastian himself, but like September.
Well,
Can I enjoy my summer?
But
how about Christmas?
He's not on the talk about that. He's on the talk about his new show, the Bookie.
He's on talk about the book. Yeah.
He is very funny.
I love him. Did you see the movie?
Which one?
With Robert De Niro?
No.
It was very good.
I saw the trailer.
Well, that's not seeing the movie.
I never claimed I saw the movie. I'm just trying
what's the movie called again?
My father,
the father-in-law or the father.
No, it's his father. It's his life story, essentially.
Oh, it's actually Maniscalco's story.
Yeah, I mean with tweaks, but it's essentially his life story.
I still maintain the rise of comedians is sort of like the weirdest of all stars.
But it's not that weird because comedians are acting.
About my father.
What?
About my father.
That's it. It was about his father.
Not that. I don't mean the acting part. I just mean the way that they can sort of become huge and it feels overnight, but it's not overnight. Like Maniscalco is not overnight.
Right.
But in a real way, I felt like one day I was living my life and I'd never heard of this guy my entire life. And then I saw he's selling out MSG. Like, it's just weird how comedy works that way. They build their following.
Also, the streaming services help.
Yeah, it's no different than in music. I mean, there's a lot of bands you're like, oh, it's a new band. Well, they've been around for 20 years. They finally have a hit song, and they have their moment. And then
where they hit the mainstream, but they've had their people.
I mean, we were talking about Andrew Dice Clay last week. I don't think there's ever been a bigger moment than Andrew Dice Clay. I mean, he went from banging the bushes, so to speak, to going and playing Madison Square Garden. And then it faded out. That's why I respect guys like George Carlin, who never had the Garden moment, but stayed consistent for decades. That's the hard thing to do. That's the Rolling Stones. That's the Beatles. So
well, that's why say whatever you want about the last couple of years and where he's gone with stuff. That's why there's not even, to me, a close second. Chappelle is the comedian of this era for what he's done over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
This run of, he can just show up and announce an arena, and then 2 weeks later, he's at MSG in front of 17,000 people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's unusual.
We were talking yesterday about the Albert Brooks documentary.
Sure.
In it, we found out, I bet you didn't know this, I didn't know
Sure.
it. Lorne Michaels and Dick Ebersol offered him the permanent hosting job of Saturday Night Live when they started.
Oh, we'll just have a full-time host and it'll be you.
This week it's Timothée Chalamet, and then next week it's going to be Lady Gaga. No, he was going to be the guy every single week.
Wow.
And he said it'd be better if we alternated hosts.
And then he did short films for each.
That's where he was the one that developed the short films in Saturday Night Live. I got to tell you, I don't know if you're a big fan of Albert Brooks. I came away with two things. I had no idea, and I'm a fan, that he was as big as he was, and that he is the comedian's comedian. Like David Letterman said in the documentary, I'd rather have his career.
And he dated Linda Ronstadt. He was a real...
Yeah.
He was a ladies' man.
And it's a throwaway in the documentary, which is money.
What, was Linda Ronstadt considered
Oh
my God,
my
Peter.
God.
No, I mean I Don't Know Much by Aaron Neville and Linda Ronstadt, but I don't.
No, Linda Ronstadt was.
I was in utero when this was a thing.
No, but it's, again, Michael's line.
No, it's not true. Linda Ronstadt's public hotness is not something that transcends the Civil War.
No, you're wrong. Go look at the cover of the album where she's wearing roller skates. Go do that, okay? And then shut your trap.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you right now. I just looked at John. He gave me the look in my.
Don't go by John.
Go look up Linda Ronstadt's
I'm not
album.
doubting whether or not I'm going to find an attractive picture. I'm saying I didn't know that was part of the Linda Ronstadt brand, like Dolly Parton.
That she was attractive?
Not really. I just thought she had a beautiful voice.
She also was a beautiful woman.
Listen. I'm a bad person, okay? Linda, I didn't know you were hot. I'm sorry. You're still hot. I don't know.
I was not suggesting.
I don't know much, but I know I love you.
No, much. Well, let's take some phone calls. 1-800-919-3776. But we'll do it after I tell you about Black Friday now at Bay Ridge Honda. Your family-owned and operated dealer for over 60 years.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
See everything your restaurant can do with tools from Square. Get a POS that connects to a KDS so you can handle orders ASAP. Reach more customers with online ordering and QR codes. Use pocket-sized hardware so you can turn tables faster. And get one account for everything so you can take care of it all and take it easy too. Get your all-in-one restaurant system and sign up at square.com today.
The most important tool on any job site in America is the one you wear on your feet for 40 hours a week.
Wait, what?
My name is Eric Gerard. I started Brunt Workwear in my garage for my buddies in the trades. The modern construction worker has different needs than they did 100 years ago. That's why at Brunt, our gear is designed by workers for workers with premium technologies like triple layer comfort, slip and oil resistant soles, and a triple layer waterproofing system. Go online for free shipping and try any of our gear on the job for 30 days risk-free.
You done yet? It's 2 a.m. Why are you still scrolling through videos? You're not paying me overtime here. If you really want to see something new, why not change those shades that have been broken for the past 2 years? Let's tap the Thumbtack app, and in a matter of seconds, we'll find a pro to install new shades.
Okay.
With Thumbtack, you can easily find top-rated professionals for every home project.
Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Up your fan engagement with Yes Rewards on the Yes app. Watch live games and earn points. Play the hottest games and score more. Earn status, then redeem your points to win prizes. Yes Rewards on the Yes app.
Does it still count as ending the night with McDonald's if you order it for breakfast the morning after? I'm ordering either way. Order McDelivery in the app.
To get unmatched answers, it's the biggest financial decision of your life. Call 800-LAW-6789 or visit misowin.com.
Dive into the world of Win Reality. Experience unlimited at-bats from more than 600 pitchers. Training that simulates all game situations and head-to-head action with family and friends. Master your timing, pitch recognition, and hitting mechanics with expert coaching.
Let's see the progress.
So when your moment comes, you'll be ready. Win Reality. Baseball uncaged.
All across America, it's Black Friday. But at your local Ford stores, it's more like Bright Friday. Thanks to incentives that will help brighten your holidays. Whether you currently own or lease a Ford vehicle or a competitive vehicle and you're ready to trade in, we've got great offers for all across the Ford lineup. Trade in, trade up, but hurry. Bright Friday deals end December 4th. Now, returning lessees and competitive trade-in customers can lease a Ford F-150 for $299 a month. Only at your local Ford stores.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
Well, the 2024 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series comes to MetLife Stadium this winter for 2 games featuring 4 division rivals. The Flyers face off against the Devils on Saturday, February 17th at 8 p.m. And the Rangers take on the Islanders on Sunday, February 18th at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at NHL.com/Stadium Series tickets. Keep it locked in to the K Show today for your chance to score tickets right here on ESPN New York. Let's go to Patty in Staten Island. Patty, what's up? Hello, Patty. Patty.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, go, Patty.
Okay, I know you're not talking about the Yankees now.
Talk about everything.
But I gotta ask you, honestly, what are they gonna do something? When is Hal Steinbrenner gonna get over his love affair with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone? You know, other people do get rid of their managers and their vice presidents. It happens all the time. What is this thing that he won't let go of?
He thinks
he isn't a fan of baseball. He is a fan of making money, but not of baseball.
Well, how do you know he's not a fan of baseball? How do you know he's not a fan of baseball?
What?
How do you know he's not a fan of baseball?
He would see that there's something wrong since we haven't won anything since 2009.
Right. So, when Mets haven't won anything since 1986.
Oh, please. I don't even look at the Mets.
Patty,
that's good stuff. We got to drop at it. Don't hang up. You didn't hang up, did you?
No,
I think
I mean,
I think somebody took the phone from her.
Patty.
I mean, to make
a drop, though.
To make a comment like he doesn't like it. How do you know he doesn't like baseball? And he's not firing Boone and Cashman because he doesn't think they're doing a bad job.
See, that's the arrogance that drives people crazy about the Yankees. Seriously, Michael. I mean, the Yankees are a great organization, but when you get fans like that, like, think about the statement, Peter. We haven't won since 2009. As if, like, cavemen walked the earth back in 2009. And then you bring up all the Mets haven't won since 86. Well, I don't even watch them. Because all you do is consume the Yankees. You expect a championship every year. Sorry your life is so awful.
Did you see this photo?
Yeah. What about it?
But did you see the caption?
No.
It's a troubling photo of you and Don, to say the least. And if you really look at the facial expressions, it's not a terribly off caption.
Guy tries to do something nice. The guy tries to do something nice.
I have to repost this, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's lean into it.
I have to.
Why is all the food in front of me, by the way?
Because you're the one
consuming I'm fighting the fight.
You're exhuming it.
Oh, that's ignorant. Because I had
somebody
one wing.
run out and get Don some Doritos. I
had one wing.
There you go. Griffin in
Lonnie's
Connecticut.
killing us on social media.
Griffin in Connecticut.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Griffin.
How are you?
Great.
Oh, back-to-back calls.
Go, Griff, go. Come on, what's up?
Okay. I have a Yankee point.
Oh, yeah. Here at the NHL store. Big crowd. Thank you all for coming by. Thank you all for listening. And thank you all for watching as well. You know, one thing that we have not spoken about a lot today.
What is that?
Is some of the news that's coming out. Because the baseball winter meetings start next Monday. And I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And Andy Martino of SNY is reporting. He reported two things that got my attention. That the Yankees and the Padres have exchanged some names. And they were far apart. And, you know, one of the things I've heard is that the Padres wanted Jason Dominguez.
Right.
Now you can say, well, you get Soto. He's 25. Dominguez is, he's 21. So it's not that it's not like you're giving up a young player with promise for a veteran. But you have control of Dominguez for 6 years at cost certainty. After $33 million this year for Soto, you've got to pay him probably over $45 million a year for probably a 10-year deal. So to give up, there's no guarantee that you're going to sign him now.
That's the problem.
If I'm going to give up Dominguez, I'm sure as heck going to make sure that I sign Soto to a long-term contract. I can't lose Dominguez for a one-year deal. They've also asked for Volpe. Now listen, you can ask for whomever you want. But I don't think the Yankees are going to give up those players because the Padres have to get rid of this player's contract. And from what I've heard, they want pitching. Now, I think the biggest decision the Yankees have to make, would you give up Michael King, who I think is going to be a star? I would give up Clark Schmidt. It'd be hard for me to give up King, but I might do it for Soto. And you also have to give up Drew Thorpe, the young pitcher in the minors. So we'll see exactly. But exchanging names is still early. But I think they want something done by the winter meetings.
But beggars can't be choosers here, Michael. If you're trying to make a big splash, and I understand he's a free agent, I understand that he's a Boris client, but you said there could be up to 8 teams that would want him. So somebody may cave and give big prospects. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get them for nothing. I mean, the days of the salary dump 20 years ago when there was no revenue sharing, only the big market teams can grab those guys, you wouldn't have that many teams in the position that the Yankees are in. But because there are 7 to 8 other teams that are going to be in the bidding, that's going to drive it up. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to give up big-time prospects for a guy that might walk at the end of the year?
Now, we mentioned 8 teams. It could be fewer. It could be more.
Yeah.
But what Martino, who I respect, reported that the Mets are not in on Soto because they're not ready to win this year. And that, to me, I mean, I'm not doubting Andy's reporting, but, okay, you're not ready to win this year. This guy's 25 years old. When you make a trade for him, you're assuming you're going to trade for him for the next 10 years and sign him to a long-term deal. Why wouldn't you pick him up and have him be part of the solution to the problem, even if you don't think you're going to win the World Series in 2024?
I'm not understanding the whole, it's not about next year. Could they win a championship? All right, well, who thought the Diamondbacks would go to the World Series this year?
Right.
The wild card has opened up chances for teams to be competitive and maybe make runs. So why would the Mets take an E on 2024 when you've got Alonso, you've got Lindor, you've got some talent? Now, you don't have great pitching, but you could acquire that. What if they get Yamamoto?
Right.
Are you going to tell me that they're not going to be competitive in 2024 if they get maybe one of the best pitchers on the planet to come pitch for them? I think the Mets are out of it because they don't have the pitching prospects to really bid
but
for him.
They do have good young players. So if you decide I'll part with an Alvarez, I'll part with a Beatty, maybe you would be able to. I'll part with one of the other good young players that they have coming up. Some of the youngsters that they got in the trades. At the trade deadline. But the thing that gets me, they're not going to get him because they're not ready in 2024. This is not a veteran that you're getting for 1 year.
21
This
years
is
old.
not like Verlander.
It's 25.
Yeah, this is a guy who's 25 years old. He should be in the Met batting third for the next 10 years. And the one advantage the Mets have over everybody else, you can sign him. I mean, I keep hearing, well, you can't sign him and Pete Alonso. Why not? Well, isn't Steve Cohen's advantage is that he's rich?
Maybe the angle is, well, we don't want to give up prospects because it's not about 2024. We'll just get him when he becomes a free agent. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Where I think we could battle in 2024, but the Yankees want to win this year. Right? They want to end this streak. They want to win a championship. Mets want to win, but maybe not with the same sense of urgency because they're trying to build something long-term and say, why do we want to give up the prospects and then the possibility of getting outbid? We'll just wait the year, and then maybe we'll see what 2024 looks like, and then we won't be outbid, and we won't have to give up any prospects, and it'll just be about money.
I hear what you're saying, but then you're also gambling that, let's say he goes to the Yankees and he loves it there, and it's not going to be to the last dollar. The Yankees give him a competitive offer, and he never even entertains the Mets. We've seen that before. That's why teams do trade for a guy in the last year of his deal to try to seduce him and see how great it is to play there.
I know Yankee fans are going to get mad at me because there is something about the Yankees, and I will be the first to admit the Mets are not on the Yankees level.
As evidenced by the caller, Patty.
But see if you follow me, Peter. But when you say like it there, aren't you really talking about the city and the vibe and the media? Like, so if he likes New York, then you can't sign with the Mets. If he doesn't like New York, then you wouldn't sign with either. Like, I'm sure the Yankees treat their players well. I've got nothing to believe that the Mets don't treat their players well. And if Cohen's got a ton of money and you feel like you're going to be competitive, when I hear a ball player say, I like it there, I think he's more talking about the city and the vibe of that area and the way to live there than say, I'm just intoxicated by playing for a certain team.
But don't you think that they're see, I have to really tiptoe around this because
here we go. I'm very curious about where you're going here.
I'm one of the voices of the team, but there's a different vibe around the Yankees than the Mets. It's just a different vibe.
No, for sure. But I think for a certain age player, especially a 25-year-old, maybe they don't look at the vibe the way you do at 62, saw all of the championships and saw the dominance.
No, I think the vibe is the vibe.
I mean,
the vibe is the 27 championships. That's the big part.
But what comes with that vibe, where you win 100 games and get bounced in the divisional round, and everybody's killing you and booing you, and because you didn't win the championship.
But that's almost a different conversation. So I agree. I think you're both saying the same thing. Actually, there is a different vibe around the Yankees.
Right.
But there is a negative that comes with that vibe. It's to me, it's very clear. If you want to get with the white collar, fancy championship pedigree team in New York, it is the Yankees. If you want to have a little bit of a lower standard, but have a little bit more blue collar fun, that team is the New York Mets. I do think that's what it is. In spite of them having the richest owner in baseball.
Does a 25-year-old look at the Boston Celtics the same way that a 60-year-old would?
But okay, there's a guy in Japan who is the most coveted free agent out there, other than Ohtani, Yamamoto. And the word is that the whole Yankee aura intrigues him. From Japan.
Right.
And he's a 25-year-old guy, so, I mean, sometimes...
but there's always... I'm not saying it's steadfast where there's no way that anybody can't be intoxicated by it. The interlocking NY is historic. But I just think that, you're also talking about the pressures of it, or, hey, listen, they haven't made any kind of run.
I mean, the Mets have an interlocking NY.
But it's a different one. But also, wouldn't you want, if you're Soto, wouldn't you want your home run to be called "see ya" rather than "it's out of here"? I mean, it's just.
I don't know why you'd go there.
I love it. I love that he did. You know what, Don? You should support him. You should support him. He did the same for you.
I know, but I just can't believe he's going there.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I love Gary. Gary's a Hall of Fame candidate. I'm not.
as a nominee.
Well, I'm not a nominee.
You should be.
But I'm not. Anyway, you know what I am? I'm about to introduce Dan Orlovsky. Time now for the Dan Orlovsky Report.
That's D.O.
Sansone Auto Mall. 10 top 10 brands and over 2,000 vehicles. One place, Sansone Auto Mall in Woodbridge. And the great Orlovsky joins us now. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing great. If I could play baseball for one organization, it would be the Yankees.
There you go. There you
and
go.
that's Dan Orlovsky.
That's Dan Orlovsky.
This is a man who played for the Detroit Lions. He knows winning.
And you grew up a Yankee fan, right?
I did not. I wasn't really a big baseball fan, but
he sees what
he smells the money.
I love baseball. I love baseball playing it. But if I was like good enough to be a professional baseball player, I would be playing in New York or Philadelphia.
Were you good though? You kind of looked like you would have been a good ball player.
You probably were good.
I was unbelievable as a 12-year-old. I was the greatest 12-year-old baseball player ever, and then I got 13, and it was terrible.
Oh, that's a shame. Wow. That's when the bigger guys start throwing it at you. It's different.
All right, so Dan, you spend a lot. No, you're not. You spend a lot of time watching film. So I really need this answer from you. What's the deal with DeVito?
What's the deal with DeVito?
Is he the real deal? I mean, I'm not saying a great player, but can he be an NFL player for a long time?
I'm not there with DeVito yet. I mean, I think it's an awesome story, and everyone is, and rightfully so, caught up in that. And I don't want to take anything away from it. Like, it's awesome. The local kid, the moment. So you can like love on that and also be real that I don't see, hey, this guy's going to start in the NFL for 8 years or 10 years like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, can he hang around in the NFL as a backup for a while? I probably, you know, you see a guy that's very confident in what he's doing. The ball goes to the right place more often than not. He is not gun shy. The rush does not affect him that much. He's not overly aggressive with the ball. He's not trying to be something that he's not. And so, you know, there's elements in his game that you like. They scored 10. You know, like they scored 10 points. So I don't want to. You know, again, like it's an awesome story and really cool moment for him, and I'm sure with his family. Could he hang in the NFL for years as a backup? Yeah. I don't see starter now.
So, since you're still mathematically alive for that Monday game against the Packers, you would start Tyrod Taylor.
I mean, if I was the New York Giants and mathematically alive for the playoffs?
Yes.
No. I'm trying to lose as many games possible.
But Brian Dable's not trying to lose games. I mean,
doesn't seem like his style. Yeah.
Correct. So that's always the conversation. But we can be realistic and say what is best for the Giants is for them to lose games. The coaches and the players never subscribe to that. So, you know, they'll always live in the world that we're going to do what's best for the team. We also have to put it in context in this regard, guys. Like, remember last year, Houston, last game of the season, Lovie Smith beats the Chicago Bears, I believe. And everyone's saying, oh, my gosh, Lovie Smith, you're an idiot. I can't believe you do that. You lost out on the first pick of the overall draft. You're not going to get Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud doesn't look bad. So, you know, I do think the organization, you know, team-wise, to try to win as many games as they can. Tyrod Taylor is a better player than Tommy DeVito, yes.
Now, you're just blown away by what we're seeing with Aaron Rodgers, right?
I don't get it. I mean, it took 17 years for me to graduate college, so obviously I'm not intellectually, like, there to understand it. He's an absolute freakazoid. I know there's conspiracies out there. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so it's unbelievable what he is doing.
All right, so now the piggyback question. Let's say he's healthy enough to play by that Christmas Eve game against the Commanders. Does it make any sense if the Jets are out of it? Right now they have an under 1% chance, according to ESPN, to make the playoffs. Does it make any sense for him to play other than to prove something?
No and yes. No, it makes absolutely no sense for Aaron to play. Aaron doesn't live by that, though. I guess he doesn't live by what makes the most sense. He lives by that, well, what's the least likely thing that can and or should happen? Great, I'm going to go do it. I mean, that's the story of Aaron Rodgers. So, again, I don't know if Mr. Johnson is going to step in there and say, dude, you've done it, and it's unbelievable, and the whole world knows Is it going to be Aaron's going to go out there for a snap just to say, I accomplished the goal?
Yeah.
I got back and I played. Aaron, get off the field. Because we all know next year now is like, hey, all chips are in. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's just not how he's wired.
See, that's what I was going to ask you, is can just going out there and preseason it, go out for a series and walk off the field, could that be enough to placate his ego and prove to people that he overcame what nobody thought he could? Would that be enough?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That might be the happy ground, the happy medium, the middle ground. You know, I remember, we've seen this in other sports. I remember UConn women's basketball doing something very similar to this. There was years and years ago, there was I think like Nikisha Sales or something came off an injury. She needed a rebound to become like the career rebound leader. And she like rehab. It was the last game of the year or something that the other team missed a layup on purpose. She stood there, got the ball, timeout. So it could be the happy middle ground for both parties.
Yeah, because the game after Washington's against Cleveland. Like, the Browns need that game. They've got a great defense. If you're mathematically eliminated, I think it'd be ridiculous to have them face that kind of pass rush.
And the offensive line injuries. Like,
yeah.
If you had told me the offensive line was intact, different conversation, maybe, but with the injuries, nah.
Can you, Dan, help us understand? And listen, we talk to Robert Saleh every week, and I think we tried our best to get an answer, but I also think all of us came away feeling empty. We just don't understand how you are incapable of finding a semi-presentable quarterback to get in there and actually make this offense move at all. Like we understand you thought it was going to be Rodgers. We don't understand how there wasn't a better backup plan. But even as the year has gone on, it seems like we've seen quarterbacks around the league be able to at least move the ball and show some sort of ability. How have the Jets not been able to install anyone to play the position effectively?
Yeah, great question. So let me ask you this. Who are those quarterbacks that you're referencing? The backups that have gone in and been functional in other teams? Give me the names.
I mean, I would say including the 4 interception game this week, Josh Dobbs is like Jim Plunkett compared to anything we've seen on the Jets this year.
Yeah, okay, so before answering the Jets question, things that are needed to get a relatively good functioning offense. Number 1, you have to have a good scheme. Scheme matters. Okay?
I hear you.
Number 2, you have to have the person calling that scheme that knows how to weave things together and call the right plays at the right moment. Number 3, you have to have a good, solid offensive line. Those are the 3 foundational pieces of functioning offenses. Now, the level of function goes to different levels when you talk about, who's the quarterback? Okay, then who are the receivers? Who's the tight end? Okay, so that's the starting point. Now ask yourself, and I'll answer it. Do the Jets have a scheme right now that is going to help that or something to build on? No, they don't. Do they have a play caller right now?
Oh, go ahead. Do they?
No, they don't. And their offensive line right now, no, they don't. So when you take those 3 things that are, I think, and I really do. I like Nathaniel Hackett, and I like Todd. I do. I know those guys. If just my job, if you take those 3 bullet points I gave you, those are below average in New York right now. And I think it's indisputable to argue otherwise.
Okay, so you like Nathaniel Hackett as a guy because you're part of this community and he's a nice guy, but you agree that this is not working out, and are we then supposed to believe it would work out if it was Rodgers, because whatever it is Hackett does would work with someone as proficient as Aaron Rodgers, but it can't work with these sort of amateurish quarterbacks? Is that it, or is Hackett just not very good?
I think it definitely would be working significantly better with Aaron and then the offensive line if they were healthy like they were in week 1. I think it would be working significantly better, yes. But I don't think anybody has a lot of data to point to and saying Nathaniel Hackett is this offensive mastermind. No, I don't. Again, tons of success in Green Bay, but it does feel now that this year has happened, that was a lot more on Aaron Devon than it was Nathaniel Hackett.
All right, in 30 seconds, Dan, we asked Robert Saleh this on Monday, and he literally laughed at us. Does it make any sense to be playing Boyle or Simeon? Don't you just keep running Zach out there? Because Boyle's not your future. He's a 29-year-old, even as a backup. Simeon's not your future. Rodgers is your future for the next 2 years. Doesn't it make sense to try to get something of value out of Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know where I stand. I would have kept playing Zach. I thought Zach was playing good football. I thought he was the least of their problems. I would have liked to see different schemes deployed. And so that being said, I would have kept going with Zach. Yes.
Every time I hear Dan say play good football, and I love you, Dan. You're killing it. You're a superstar in the industry. I want to hear I want to play like do 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 do. I mean, he was playing like presentable football, and I'll give you the comp. Okay. And I know I'm a hackadoodle-do, and I know mostly about my own team, but I'll give you the Commanders comp. They're the worst protection team maybe in the league. I mean, Sam Howell is running for his life, and he has no experience. And I think we'd all say, I mean, he's put together a presentable season. He's leading the league in yardage. Zach may have no offensive line, but Dan, week to week, the three of us watch, and we just don't seem to see the good things that you're seeing. Too many balls at people's feet, too many taking sacks in bad spots. And I know you and I have argued about this before. Sometimes it may be defensible, sometimes not. But I don't know, man. I respect the hell out of you, but I also just don't see what you're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, one, Eric Bieniemy and that team is significantly more advanced than the one that Zach's running. And two, McLaurin and Dotson and Samuel versus Garrett and different stratospheres, boss. Trust me.
Yeah, I think that's another part that Dan, that a lot of us here in New York maybe were thrown off by. I think all of us thought the weapons around the quarterback were going to be better as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of pop guns other than Garrett Wilson.
I mean, I love Garrett. I think Garrett has played under to his standard this year.
You're right.
And I would tell that to him. I think the world of him. Allen, I've always been a big fan of Allen. He's absolutely underwhelmed this year. I think the two offensive pieces that have been the most reliable this year are, I guess, Breed, and he's even fallen off, and Conklin.
Yeah, because Uzama hasn't been it.
Conklin's been the one reliable cat.
Yeah, fair.
Dan, good stuff. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
Be well, guys.
Thanks, that's the Dan Orlovsky Report brought to you by Sansone Auto Mall. Make your best deal right now at Sansone Auto Mall and tell them that Bart Scott sent you and take an extra $1,000 off your best deal. Call 1-800-SANSONE today. Peter taking on an ex-NFL player, thinking he knows
Good for him.
Unbelievable.
Good for him. You think that he hangs up the phone and he goes, I don't know who that third guy is who talks, but I hate him? Do you think that?
I think he hangs up the phone and go, what a... It's a word that starts with a D. Yeah.
Well, I literally looked around at our lovely listeners who've been hanging out, and the second Dan said, I mean, I appreciate you guys gave me what I needed, because sometimes we get lulled to sleep. When he said, no, I think Zach's been playing good football, I looked up at our listeners, and they're all like, is this person a psychopath? What are they saying?
Maniscalco tickets coming back. Also, we have not spoken to you that much today.
No.
1-800-919-3776. We got Patty and we got Griffin.
Patty brought it, though.
Yeah, Patty got done.
I hope Patty's at the beginning of ENN.
With the holidays around the corner, get a jump start on the new year by...
Tournament, they play at Atlanta a week from today and host the Wizards next Friday. Next up on the schedule is the fourth game of the Nets' 5-game homestand when they welcome in the Hornets. Our coverage begins with the pregame show at 6:30, followed by opening tip a little after 7:30. It's the Nets and the Hornets. Coverage starting at 6:30 tomorrow right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
With 2 tickets to tonight's Rangers game at the Garden against the Detroit Red Wings. So that's nice. Now, speaking of tickets, Sebastian Maniscalco coming to Madison Square Garden Wednesday, September 18th and Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Be caller number 99 for Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, no.
Right now at 888-987-ESPN, and you're going to score a pair of tickets. Brought to you by Live Nation. Tickets go on sale 10 a.m. this Friday, December 1st at Ticketmaster.com. For full contest rules, go to ESPNNewYork.com. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Anthony in Glen Cove. Anthony.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great. You?
Not bad, not bad. Long-time listener, maybe second-time caller. Shout out to company. Shout out to Dice Chat, me and my friends. I just wanted to come on here, really ask you for your honest opinion. I know you have an agenda, or maybe not an agenda, but you are New York radio. So I want to know, compared, from a take from Dan Orlovsky, an NFL quarterback, what is your honest opinion on what he said? I know Peter touched on it, but I just wanted to know your honest opinion, really, of the fact that...
Well, I mean, if you've listened to the show, Anthony, and it sounds like you have, and we thank you for the call, I think he's been terrible. I think he's been awful. Dan Orlovsky sees things through a different lens than we do, so I appreciate that. From my untrained eye, he's been dreadful, and he's gotten benched 3 times. So they don't bench a guy for no reason. He's lost confidence. He does not think he can play the position the right way. So no, I don't think he's played well at all. Although I think he should be the guy playing.
I'm glad that caller came in because I wanted to bring this up and we were running out of time because we ran late with Dan.
Yeah, Peter didn't care.
We're getting caught up.
Sorry.
We're getting caught up in Dan saying that he has played well, and not getting down to what the message is from Dan. That this team is poorly coached offensively. Right. That's what he is saying. He is saying that Zach Wilson is a good quarterback that is doing some things under the exceptional limitations he's under because Nathaniel Hackett doesn't know what he's doing. That's what I took from what Dan Orlovsky said.
There's no other way to take it today.
Well, he doesn't like his scheme.
Yeah, he said it nicely.
That's a nice way of saying you've got a nice personality.
Yeah, I was about to say, what does a coach have? No, it's even worse than that, Don, because a personality is a real thing. It may be a thing men don't talk about, but it's a real thing. If you're a coach and you don't have a scheme, that's worse than no personality. That's having nothing. What, he's a nice guy?
Right. So I mean,
bring me in as OC.
So both.
Well, you're not a nice guy, though.
But both could be right. Where he thinks under the right scheme, he would do better. And most quarterbacks with his skill set would look like Zach Wilson under this offensive system. That's what I took from him.
Let's go to Freaky Ta in New Jersey. Freaky Ta.
How do you spell the last?
T-A-H.
No,
Hey,
you can't.
fellas, how you doing?
Come on, man. There's only one Freaky Ta, R.I.P., Queens, LB fam.
How you doing, fellas?
Okay.
What's up?
Hello?
Yeah,
what's up, baby?
Okay, all right. I want you guys to stay with me. How you doing, Michael? What's up, Don Juan?
We're all good.
Peter?
We're all good. What's up,
What
Freaky?
do you got, baby?
Good. I want you guys to stay with me, but I wanted to say this. I just wanted to thank Don Juan and Peter, right, for just really being an important piece to your show, Michael, and I really want you to listen to me.
Yeah.
I listened to you a couple years ago when I was younger. Mind you, I just turned 35.
Okay.
November 9th.
Core demo, Michael.
Right? So just listen, just hear me out, Michael.
But please go on. Damn it. Come on.
You have no football knowledge, man.
Oh, no.
All right.
Oh.
He makes him sell your points.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Freaky. We appreciate your time.
Oh.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand.
So that was Bill Belichick, right? He has more knowledge than I do.
Apparently so. Here's the thing you guys have to understand.
Oh, my God.
Calling up and saying that your name is Freaky Ta without no explanation, who is a very known rap artist from the Lost Boys, God rest his soul, died like 20 years ago, from Queens. He's from here. He's from Queens. Just to look up and see that it says Freaky Ta is on the phone, if you were watching TV, you'd go, oh, my God, turn the volume up. Someone's calling from heaven. So I needed an explanation on how you had...
So you think the signal would be bad if they were calling from heaven?
Right,
I don't even think he knew what it meant then.
And then I explained it. It's not like his name said Steve Johnson. It says Freaky Ta. There's only one Freaky Ta.
Let's go to Tom in Syracuse. Tom.
Freaky Tom?
No, it's just Tom.
Regular Tom. All right, Tom.
Yes, just regular Tom. Well, we'll see. I just had a question because, I was wondering because everybody was talking about with like Yankee stuff, because like everybody's talking about like Soto, Bellinger, that kind of stuff. That's all outfield. But I'm wondering, do you know what they're thinking of for like infield stuff? Are they going like outside the organization, or do you think they're going to go in-house for their infield?
Well, I mean, their infield is pretty much set. I mean, let's say they don't trade Torres. So let's operate under that assumption. So it's Rizzo at first, Torres at second, Volpe at third, and LeMahieu at short. Volpe at third, Volpe at short, and LeMahieu at third. And you could probably put Peraza in there. Now, if they end up trading Torres, which I think they probably will, then they'll put Peraza at second base and they'll play LeMahieu at third. But you're acting like they have all these holes to fill. They don't. They have a first baseman, a second baseman, and a shortstop.
Well, I guess if Rizzo comes back.
But he's going to come back. He had a concussion.
No, I know, but it wasn't like he was performing all that well.
He was performing great till he got hurt.
Right. Now, was it all the concussion? And sometimes guys don't come back 100% from concussions. You hope he will.
Let's go to Mark in Manhattan. Mark.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
With the Yankees speculation about getting Soto, in my opinion, I don't think Soto makes the Yankees that much better than last year. I mean, Soto's a great addition to the team, don't get me wrong, but you're going to have to give up numerous pieces of your farm system. And
but let me stop you. Then how wouldn't you'd give up pieces of your farm system that are not playing and didn't play last year? You're adding one of the greatest hitters of all time to bat third behind Judge. How are they not better?
Well, it makes them a little bit better, but my
no, not a little bit better. A hell of a lot better. Who did they have playing left field last year? Who did they have playing center field? So Soto is filling one of those roles. How are they not exponentially better with him?
Okay, but last year, pitching was a huge issue. Huge issue. Aside from Garrett Cole, who else are you going to throw out there? Severino was terrible. Cortez, I understand he had health issues. He wasn't good. Who else do you have?
Okay, so if you go with that same bad pitching, by the way, their bullpen was outstanding. If you go with that same bad pitching that you just said, and you add a guy who in his first 6 years in the big leagues has numbers that have only been matched by Ted Williams, you're telling me they're only a little bit better? Do you really think they're going to go into the season without starting pitching? I'm telling you, you're viewing this the wrong way. Their starting pitching is not that bad, Mark. The bottom line is this. You've got Cole, who just won the Cy Young Award. You're assuming that Nestor Cortez is going to come back healthy. I'm sorry, I don't believe Rodon is as bad a pitcher as he showed. I think that he's due for a bounce back. Michael King became a very good starter when they transitioned him to the rotation. And Clark Schmidt, by the way, gave them 32 starts of reasonable baseball. That's a good number 5. Then you saw Vasquez, who also showed that he could pitch a little bit. They've got some young arms, too. Don't think their pitching is that bad. That's why the Padres are negotiating with the Yankees, because the Padres need pitching. They just lost 700 innings of pitching from this team last year. They need young, controllable pitching, which the Yankees have. How anybody in their right mind could say that if you trade players that were not on the team last year and you add one of the greatest hitters of all time, a left-handed hitter like Juan Soto, and you're only a little bit better? Have I lost my mind? Do I know baseball the way that guy thinks I know football?
You know what? The calls have been great today.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Painful. Do we have an ice pick I can put in my forehead?
Oh,
an ice pick in the
right. I mean, it's the NHL. There's ice out there. Did you see the skating rink? Maybe they got a pick.
Wow.
Right in the forehead.
The Michael K. Show holiday party returns on Friday, December 8th at your mother's house in Garden City Park, Long Island. We'll have plenty of giveaways for fans in attendance, including ticket packages from the Jets, the Knicks, the Rangers, and the Islanders, plus special guest appearances by Wally Zerbiak, Amani Toomer, Rick DiPietro, and more. So please mark your calendars and get ready to spread some cheer at the Michael K. Show holiday party. It's Friday, December 8th at your mother's house in Garden City Park, Long Island. Brought to you by the New York Islanders, Jake's 58 Casino Hotel, Yingling Traditional Lager, and Flight by Yingling, the perfect beers for the holiday season. Security Dodge. Visit securitydodge.com and come get some selection, and also benefiting the Garden of Dreams Foundation. Don, tell me about cars.
It's Don LeGreca here for
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
My goal is to become the place where parents and caregivers come to find childcare that works for them.
My goal is to build the largest university in the world.
My dream is to be the telemedicine provider for kids and families to stop generational trauma.
I want to change culture. I want to enable these gaming communities to become self-sufficient. That's the goal.
I'm Jessie Dover, co-founder of Dagny Dover. New York isn't for the faint of heart.
The gear you carry around not only has to look good, but it has to work even better. That's why we create bags like the Landon Carryall, a bag that allows organizational junkies like me to be ready for whatever life brings. A bag that allows me to feel good about the things I carry. After all, this city is a reflection of who I am, purposeful, resilient, and ready to face whatever comes my way.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
I needed something in the shop, comfortable. I wear Brunt boots, as you see, got them on my feet right now. Keeps you warm, it keeps you dry, triple layered comfort. Comfortable in the morning, comfortable in the afternoon. These feel like kind of like sneakers. They're waterproof, durable. Been wearing them for over a year now. They're absolutely amazing. This is the only shoe I wear in here now. Brown boots are cool. Wearing Brunt boots, my feet, my back, and my legs don't hurt at the end of the day.
Go online and try any of our gear on the job for 30 days, risk-free.
For the British Basketball League, 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion, the British Basketball League.
Your favorite thing delivered right to your door means that you never have to stop doing your other favorite thing. Nailed it. Order McDelivery in the app.
We heard you, Jersey, clear and loud. So we built you a new Hard Rock app made for New Jersey. And we'll match your first deposit plus throw in up to 1,000 free spins when you sign up for Hard Rock Bets. New fun and games added each month with more slots from Atlantic City. Brand new loyalty redeemed straight from your phone or in person. And new ways to withdraw. Faster, simpler, easier. Now our bets hit different because your app is different. Sign up now to get your first deposit matched and up to 1,000 free spins.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion, the British Basketball League.
It's easy to stay safe online.
Otani. And from what I hear, you know, the whispers in the business, he doesn't really want the East Coast. I guess he looks at Toronto as a different aspect. It's not like the East Coast. It's also a dome, so he doesn't have to deal with cold weather. And then you've got the teams in California, San Francisco, and the two LA teams. But so the Mets weren't in on him. And no amount of money can ever convince somebody to come somewhere.
Right.
Like Craig Counsell, I guess, didn't want to manage the Mets. He wanted to be close to Milwaukee, so he signed a big money deal with the Cubs. Cool. Well, Yamamoto seems to have an affinity for the spotlight and says that, you know, I've heard from people, is a real big fan of the Yankee legacy and their striving for greatness and all the championships. He likes that. So he's willing to play in New York. Steve Cohen and David Stearns, his boy wonder, flew out to Japan for a short meeting with Yamamoto. They flew halfway around the world for a short meeting. You tell me, Don LaGreca, longtime Met fan, out of his crib.
Right.
How do the Mets not come away with Yamamoto? How is it possible where the biggest advantage that Steve Cohen has that makes other owners shake in their boots is that there is no money that's too much for him? None. So if you went around the world, halfway around the world to get this guy, and that is your priority, how is it possible that you allow him to go anywhere else? Like if the Yankees offer him $35 million, how do you not go to 40 when you gave an old pitcher $43.5 million? How is it possible that Cohen does not secure Yamamoto? Explain that to me.
I can't. How can I? You want him. You've got the financial wherewithal. I thought the whole thing about Steve Cohen being here was that he was going to spend the money. If he needed to spend the money on the right player, he was going to spend the money. That he had the rest of Major League Baseball shaking in their boots, that he was going to spend like a drunken sailor and completely put the economy of baseball out of whack. You want him. You flew halfway around the world to talk to him. How do you get outbid? How? Unless you're telling me that you're leaving all of your faith in Stearns, who's your baseball guy, who's going to tell you, listen, I know you want him, but we're getting to the point now where this doesn't make a lot of sense. And he just decides to rely on his baseball people and caves in. But if you want him, and you're whether you like it or not, Michael, you're competing with the New York Yankees. You're competing for the back pages. You're competing for the opening monologues in sports radio in New York. You have the money. You don't seem to care about the luxury tax. You didn't care about it last year. You're trying to overcome what was a disastrous season last year. You would think that you wouldn't allow yourself to be outbid. And if you're going to allow your baseball people to talk you out of it, well then, all right, that's fine. If that's the way you want to go, well then I guess you're just like any other owner, right? Then the financial power that you have, you're not willing to utilize. Because otherwise, wouldn't you say, all right, I get what you're saying. I hired you to be a baseball guy, but at this particular point, he's a great pitcher. You said he's a great pitcher. It's my money, not yours. I'm spending it. Right?
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it. If I was every owner and all the teams that want Yamamoto, and you know that Cohen is in on it, well, how does he get outbid? Because I don't know how you find religion one year to the next. He spent like a drunken sailor last year. I know it didn't work out, but now you have what you believe is a much better baseball man in David Stearns than you had in Billy Epler. So David Stearns has been operating and creating playoff teams on a shoestring budget. There shouldn't be a budget now. There shouldn't be. So I also don't understand the Mets' thought process to not go all in for 2024 and aim their resources toward 2025. Why? Don's brought this up several times over the last couple of weeks. The Diamondbacks made the World Series. All you have to do is get in. All you have to do is get in. And now you find religion with your money? I don't get it. I don't understand it. How do you get outbid for Yamamoto if he's your number one target? How?
I don't see how you do it. I mean, if you want to say you were scared off by what happened last year, well, there were extenuating circumstances. You went out and signed older pitchers. In the case of Max Scherzer, you signed a pitcher that had a history of getting hurt as he had gotten older. And then I admired the fact that he used his financial wherewithal to get out of it. And take the knee on the season to be able to get out of those bad contracts, eat the money so that he was able to then go out and get prospects. That I got. I understood that because that's part of his finances as well. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could not have eaten that money, Michael, but they did it. They made those deals. They ate a lot of money to be able to get prospects. And I really think they've been soft-shoeing 2024 just in case they don't get the things that they need. The fans aren't going crazy. But I believe you can be competitive. You've got Lindor long-term. You've got Alonso for one more season. I don't see any reason why you can't compete for a wild card spot. And if you get Yamamoto, that's going to be all the more reason why you can go out for it in 2024. So you would think you wouldn't get outbid. Now, if he doesn't want to come here, he doesn't want to come here. There's nothing you can do about it. But if he ends up signing for a few $1 million more with the Yankees or the Dodgers or someplace else, I mean, how do you explain to your fan base that you decided not to spend the extra money?
Now let me articulate this better because maybe I'm not really nailing the thought. If Yamamoto has a thing that he wants to play for the Yankees, like the Yankee brand means something to him, and Matsui being part of the recruitment means something, because Matsui is a god in Japan, and he's on the Yankees side. Now, he supposedly has a relationship with Senga. It's not Matsui. Right. So if he's going to go to the Yankees, and it doesn't matter how much the Mets bid, then I can't blame Steve Cohen.
No, of course not.
But if Yamamoto goes to the highest bidder, and you're not that guy, then you're not the guy we thought. You're just not. The onus is on you to outbid everybody else, because that's the one advantage you have. That's the one advantage that the Yankees have always had, because they had the most money. Now, they probably have the most money as a franchise, the money, the revenue that they make. But the guy who has the most money in the sport, in sports in general, is Steve Cohen. So if Yamamoto is not dead set on becoming a Yankee, which you can't outbuy that, like you couldn't outbuy Council wanted to be closer to the Midwest, then that's shame on you. Then you're not the guy we thought. You're not Uncle Stevie, which everybody said. Because if it comes down to who's going to outbid somebody, like if Yamamoto ends up with the Cubs, because the Cubs spent more money, then I'm sorry, David Stearns has too much of an influence on Cohen. Because he had too much of an influence on Cohen already to get rid of Buck Showalter. Made no sense to not have Showalter at least be here for this year.
Now, as you said, there is, by going over the threshold, there is certain punishments that come with that. Like you saw the Mets drop in the draft. But so did the Yankees. You know, so there's penalties even for the Yankees who worked with a self-imposed budget. They still dropped in the draft because of that. There's less international money to spend when you do, and we get all that. But if it's a generational talent that can change everything for you, and as far as the relationship, I don't want to get in the kid's head. I don't know him from Adam. But, all right, so he loves Matsui. Matsui's a god there. If he has a relationship with Senga, he gets to be in the same rotation with the guy. I would think that have an influence rather than somebody who used to play for the Yankees. If he's got a relationship with Senga, he can be in the rotation with him for the foreseeable future.
When it comes to the conversation, Michael, about the money, who's got what, who's willing to spend it, doesn't it always still come down to the fact that if a team spends a ton of money, they're going to end up getting it back somewhere, and likely that will come through things like the fans paying for it?
If they spend a lot of money and they win. Like last year, I mean, Steve Cohen probably lost $200 million. On the money they took in, and then the money that he paid out. I mean, his payroll with the taxes was about $500 million. That's why the Padres. The Mets aren't the Padres. The Padres couldn't support the money they were spending. I don't think the Mets' revenues could support what Steve Cohen was paying. Steve Cohen, out of his own pocket, ran the Mets. But isn't that his strength? So until they build the infrastructure up,
generate more money than the Mets.
Right.
But with Steve Cohen willing to spend his own money, he can make the Yankees into almost a small market team compared to him. Like, this guy is a billionaire. Like, Hal Steinbrenner's a billionaire. Under the pretense if he ever sold his team, he'd make $8 billion off the sale of the team. But they are self-contained. Steve Cohen's got money coming out of money that has nothing to do with the Mets or Major League Baseball. So that changes the game. Now, I don't think that's right, Michael. I don't like that there could be a guy out there that can outspend everybody else and have nothing to do with their ticket sales or their television revenue or anything like that. I mean, it does seem like it's unfair. I've got to be fair about that. And I do feel bad for the smaller market teams or the smaller owners that can't afford to bid that way. But having been a Met fan in a major market, basically feeling like I was rooting for the Kansas City Royals for 20 years, you do feel that you have a distinct advantage that if he's not going to use it, Michael, then what good is it?
And it's going to be interesting, too, I think, because of all the things we're talking about, they're going to make that quote-unquote run in 25. That should be the Yankees' biggest concern when it comes to Soto. And that's why the year actually works for the Yankees, where Soto could just fall in love with being a Yankee. But when you do, I've always said this, and I like Scott Boras. I have a really good relationship with him. But if you hire Scott Boras, you're going for the last penny.
Yeah, see,
you're not giving discounts. You're going for the last penny. That's why you hired the mega agent. So if Soto has a great year for the Yankees, and then Steve Cohen, who, like he does with Art, says, I got to have that, any right-thinking organization can't give the guy the money that Steve Cohen can, because you can't generate that out of revenue. It's going to be an interesting summer.
And you know what? If I'm Steve Cohen and I get a feeling that he doesn't want to sign here, I'll offer even more money. So that'll drive the price up for whoever has to pay for him has got to pay more. And then you could tell your fans, hey, listen, I offered the guy the moon and the stars, and he said no. You got to make it seem like I did everything I could. And we'll see. I mean, ultimately, we'll see, Michael. We hear that they're in on it. He flew across the world to talk to him, so every indication is that he may be willing to bid, and if he doesn't come here, he just doesn't want to come here. Now, as far as Soto, I mean, do you really... I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you really need to play for the Yankees to find out how cool it is to be a Yankee?
Yeah, I think you have to know. I think there's got to be a way, the way the organization treats the players, the first class, treatment, the clubhouse, the whole deal. I think you do have to know, and you also have to know if you like playing under that sort of pressure to win.
Well, see, that's a different story. But I'm sure the word around Major League Baseball is that it's cool the Yankees treat their players right. I mean, this is not North Dakota. You should know everything you need to know. But as you said, when you hire Scott Boras, you're not looking to be comfortable at where you're playing. You're looking to get the most money possible. Otherwise, why have Scott Boras? Your game can speak for itself, right? You're going to get paid a ton of money. But when you hire Scott Boras, Michael, you're looking for top dollar.
This portion of the show brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. When it's game time, it's Tully time. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Peter, tell us in your own words about FanDuel.
Okay, well...
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
My goal is to become the place where parents and caregivers come to find childcare that works for them.
My goal is to build the largest university in the world.
My dream is to be the telemedicine provider for kids and families to stop generational trauma.
I want to change culture. I want to enable these gaming communities to become self-sufficient. That's the goal.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
See everything your restaurant can do with tools from Square. Get a POS that connects to a KDS so you can handle orders ASAP. Reach more customers with online ordering and QR codes. Use pocket-sized hardware so you can turn tables faster. And get one account for everything so you can take care of it all and take it easy too. Get your all-in-one restaurant system and sign up at square.com today.
Local hero, national champ, now he's home and expected to save the franchise. Continue to go forward with hope as the plan.
What's up, guys? I wish this was in person so I could buy each one of you a beer or something.
Let's play the game. Am I dreaming or can we actually win this thing?
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Boost your streaming experience with live stats on the Yes app. Real-time features like player stats, game leaders, and play-by-play are available now on phones, tablets, and now on connected TVs. Live stats while you stream, now on the Yes app.
Your favorite thing delivered right to your door means that you never have to stop doing your other favorite thing. Nailed it. Order McDelivery in the app.
At DraftKings and all through the house. Slot reels were spinning. Jackpots were shouting. Jackpot! Presents were wrapped for our players with care. Delivering offers all season. Celebrate anywhere. America's top online casino. Spreading the cheer. It's holidays on the house. It's finally here. Download the app. Play $5. Get $100 instantly in casino credits. Plus a share of $5 million on offers this season. The crown is yours.
Welcome to Win Reality. Experience unlimited at-bats from home any season, anytime. See game speed pitches from more than 600 pitchers. Get ready for game time with game simulations. Face your friends in live competitions. And train like the pros with expert drills and metrics to track your progress. So when your moment comes, you'll be ready. Win Reality. Baseball uncaged.
If you watch Yes Network on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download the app to stream the Nets and experience the game in a whole new way. With a live stat overlay to track your favorite players. Free-to-play gaming with big cash prizes. And earn and redeem rewards for gift cards and gear. So remember, if you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
Show me what you're cooking. Oh, let me see them moves. You got the whole world looking like this. The kind of magic taking hold of you.
If you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
Well, tonight the Los Angeles Kings are in Montreal to take on the Canadiens. Kings have a chance with a victory on the road to break the record for the most consecutive road wins to start a season at 11. Now, they extended it to 10 by coming back from 3-0 down on Tuesday in the third period to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm a big believer that streaks that are extended by wacky comebacks end the very next game. So I've got the Canadiens at plus 180 on the money line at home to beat the Kings and end their road winning streak, and that is my ice pick. Canadiens money line plus 180.
You kidding me?
Wow.
You know, the holidays are here.
Everybody needs some extra cash.
Cash. Who doesn't love getting cash?
All right, now I'm gonna test out one of Peter's theories right now. The 2024 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series comes to MetLife Stadium this winter for 2 games featuring 4 division rivals. Be caller number 8 right now at 888-987-ESPN, and you win 2 tickets to see the Devils and Flyers face off outdoors. For full contest rules, go to ESPNNewYork.com. See the Flyers against the Devils on Saturday, February 17th. That's at 8 p.m. And the Rangers against the Islanders on Sunday, February 18th at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at NHL.com/Stadium Series tickets.
See, now that you just finished the read there,
right?
We should clear the lines because you just finished the read, and then it's caller 8. You see what I'm saying?
I see. Let's see if you're a radio genius. I've always said that. Let's go to Anthony in Michigan.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the call.
You got it.
Despite some negativity out there, the fact is that yesterday, I think the schism between the fan base and the front office, which has gotten out of control over the past 2 seasons, is now narrowing because the Yankees showed a willingness to make the sort of deal that they weren't willing to make at the 21 or 22 deadlines, and that's good. And Soto's a great player, so that's good too. But, Cashman certainly deserves a ton of credit for yesterday. But I think it's interesting to think about whether yesterday's trade is as much of an admission that the historic 21 and 22 seasons were mismanaged as much as it might be a vindication. It can kind of be both. How you look at the Padres' deal with the Nets and what they gave up, there's absolutely a gap there. The Padres gave up more than the Yankees did. But when you look at it, the Yankees could have easily bridged that gap if the front office was maybe in today's mindset back then. And maybe the Yankees wouldn't have paid the price that they paid in the 21 and 22 season. I think Cashman deserves credit. He should get credit for yesterday. That's good. But it shouldn't be 100% adulation. There should be sort of a price to pay in his legacy for the learning curve that he's been on.
You know what? It's a very intelligent point, very intelligent take. I guess when he was traded from the Nationals, they felt we have enough to win the way we have. And I think that 82 and 80, and the fact that over the years they've been stacking right-handed bats, not lefty bats in Yankee Stadium, they've come to realize that that was a mistake. And as Don always said, a mistake is made worse when you don't admit it and continue to double down.
Right.
So they've changed their theory or the way to build a team, and you could see left-handed batters now in the lineup. They have a rookie catcher who's left-handed. They have Soto. They have Rizzo. They've got lefty bats now that are going to be very, very important for them. So, listen, I guess they could have gotten them, but, they probably would have had to give up one of their top prospects at the time. They're of a different mindset now. So, the caller made a good point, but I don't think that you rip them because they thought they were in a better place than they are right now.
But, we're not that far removed from, a swearing tirade from Brian Cashman defending everything that he did. So I'm wondering, is this more like a Hal thing where, Brian left to his own devices probably doesn't make this deal? But maybe Hal's like, guys, we have to change this. This audit that came in and all that, was all that just a smokescreen to have a conversation with Brian saying, Brian, things are going to have to change here? And was that tirade that he had at the general managers meetings him trying to hold on? And maybe Hal just said, enough. I'm sorry, Brian, the way that you want to run things has not worked. We're now going to have to change the mindset. So get to work on getting Soto. Get to work on getting Yamamoto. Let's go. Because the way you've done it over the last 15 years hasn't worked.
There was also a very interesting take from somebody on social media, and I'm not going to rip it, but it shows the difference in the mindset of fans and guys putting together teams. So T. Diddy said about Soto, I'm happy to have him, but I heard him described today as a generational talent. So I looked at his stats. He's a career 284 hitter, averaging around 30 home runs. Paul O'Neill did better than that. We never called him a generational talent. Bernie Williams, same story. You're not looking at OPS or OPS plus. You're not looking at WAR. Now, Paul O'Neill is a great player, but Soto is, when you look at those stats, which is what people build teams off of, he's generational, as in through the 24 age season. He's in the top 10. I think he's 9th in OPS. And he's 7th in OPS plus, which is adjusted for stadiums and things like that. He's with names like Babe Ruth and Ted Williams. So batting average is not what people look at when they build teams. So I see the point that you're making. And Paul O'Neill, while we might not have called him a generational talent, he was a major part of 4 championship teams and will be part of Yankee forever. But generational, he wasn't, because his numbers don't stack up with the all-time greats. Soto's do, because you're not looking at the right numbers. They don't really live and die with batting average anymore. They just don't.
Well, Paul O'Neill's best season for WAR was in 98, 5.8.
Yeah, he was great that year.
Soto's best WAR, where he led the league in 2021, was 7.1.
Also, 940-plus OPS, 150-plus home runs, 500-plus runs scored through the age 24 season. Jimmy Fox, Mel Ott, Mickey Mantle, Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, and Juan Soto. Those are the only players in Major League history to do that. So, yeah, I'm sorry. He's a generational talent.
Well, the thing is that he's 24 years old. He's played 8 years in the league. So that's
he's going to be 25, right?
He's going to be 25 years old. But, he played his eighth season at 24. And he's accumulated so far in his career a WAR of 28. Let me see. I had it here for a second.
You sure he's played 8 seasons? Because he's going to be a free agent after this one. You're a free agent after 6 years.
You know what? I'm sorry. I counted because of. I counted because of the different teams he was on in 2022.
Right.
So 2018,
So
1,
this will
2,
be a
3,
sixth
4,
year.
5, 6. This will be his 7th season. He's played 6 years in Major League Baseball, and his accumulated WAR over that time is 28.6. Paul's entire career was 38.8. Now, I can understand fans being like, WAR, what does it mean? You know, what is it good for? Ha ha. But that's what they look at.
Absolutely nothing.
That's what they look at, Peter. And I get a fan right to the home runs, right to the batting average. That's what the old school guys do. That's what I still do.
But not even
But they
just
look
WAR,
deeper.
Don. You have to look at on-base percentage plus slugging. That is their holy grail. And this guy owns that. So does Judge. Judge and Soto give you 1,000 OPS essentially in the 2 and 3 spots in the order. I mean, it's going to be scary for pitchers to navigate that.
His career OPS is 946.
It's unbelievable.
And Paul's career OPS was 833.
And
So
nobody's
over 100
knocking
points
Paul.
more.
Paul's was a heck of a player.
But here's the thing, you know, Paul is going to be looked upon because look at what he did in the postseason, and you won 4 rings with the guy. So he's going to be held to a different standard, and we'll see what Soto does because you know darn well, Michael, he can have an MVP season, and if this team gets bounced into the divisional round and he's 1 for 20, what do you think the fans are going to say?
No,
you know, because
he's got to produce.
They're not going to care about the MVP. They're not going to care about his WAR. They're going to have to be able to produce. So Paul O'Neill, they're not going to want to hear about all these regular season numbers because Paul came up big in the biggest spots.
Peter, please opine about BetterHelp.
For far too long, millions of Americans have been strapping on uncomfortable work boots pushed by out-of-touch corporate types. Hey! To design boots and apparel that hardworking men and women actually want, you have to get on the job site and listen.
And that's why Brunt names gear after guys like us.
Apart from making our boots and apparel innovative, reliable, and insanely comfortable, we back all of our gear with a 30-day on-the-job risk-free trial. You deserve better. You deserve Brunt.
Try any of Brunt's gear on the job for 30 days risk-free.
Get tools that bring every angle of your beauty business together. Clients can book online 24/7 for multiple services and multiple staff, so scheduling is simple. And with client notes and stored payments, you can offer seamless checkouts, so clients keep coming back. Run your beauty business with tools that bring everything together. Get started at square.com today.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Welcome to the Athletic Basketball Show.
The league is in absolute chaos.
Players going off pretty much every other
Playing picture that, when it clears, could leave a few future Hall of Famers.
It might all come down to some rookie taking free throws. Is on pace to break the
The Athletic. Subscribe today.
Boost your streaming experience with live stats on the Yes app. Real-time features like player stats, game leaders, and play-by-play are available now on phones, tablets, and now on connected TVs. Live stats while you stream, now on the Yes app.
Does it still count as ending the night with McDonald's if you order it for breakfast the morning after? I'm ordering either way. Order McDelivery in the app.
When you support City Harvest, you feed hope, love, and joy. You feed confidence, community, and comfort. You feed health, strength, and spirit. When you support City Harvest, you do more than just provide hundreds of millions of pounds of food to millions of hungry New Yorkers. When you support City Harvest, you feed good.
What's up, everybody? Chef Marcus Sampson here on Home Plate New York on the Yes app. Come on, man, bring it in. Don't be shy.
From pinstripes to chef whites, Yankee stars take to the kitchen and explore some of their favorite New York cuisine.
This is a staple. This is what we grew up. This is actually a gourmet version.
Yeah.
Plus celebrities, athletes, and icons join Marcus at some of the hottest tables in town.
That's amazing. I'm proud. Manja, manja.
Check out Home Plate New York, streaming now on the Yes app.
We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Big holiday party tomorrow at your mother's house in Long Island. Please drop by and say hello. But we've been talking a lot, and when a team in the city in which you're doing a show acquires a guy like Juan Soto, there's your show. I mean, there's your week almost. So getting Juan Soto is an absolute blockbuster, no-brainer deal that you had to make. And it makes them better. Makes them much better, but the work is not done. But there is one aspect of this deal that gets me nervous. There's one aspect of both deals that they made during the winter meetings that comes close to terrifying me. And has nothing to do with death, which is the main thing that terrifies me.
Sure.
But I don't feel comfortable with Aaron Judge in center field. I don't. Brian Cashman said today, if opening day was tomorrow, Aaron Judge would be in center field. The Yankees are smarter than that, especially when it comes into health science. It doesn't make sense for a 32-year-old in April to be lugging around a 6'7" 282-pound body, chasing down fly balls in the left and right center field gaps. It doesn't make sense. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get hurt if you stay in right field. Of course, he got hurt last year in a freak accident at Dodger Stadium. I'm talking about wear and tear. You've got 8 more years invested in this guy. You have to keep him in tip-top shape and not wear down. You want him to play 150 to 155 games every single year. Now, a catastrophic injury is a catastrophic injury, but you can't wear him down in center field. That's why the acquisition of Verdugo makes Aaron Judge the center fielder. And now, I trust Brian Cashman, knows it's probably not optimum to have Aaron Judge play 100 games in center, and that something's going to be done. Maybe they end up spinning Verdugo for pitching. I don't know. Because the best setup for the Yankees defensively is to put Trent Grisham in center and Judge and Soto, whichever corner you decide to put them in. I'm going to read you a quote from the Yankees' former hitting coach, Sean Casey. He has a podcast, The Mayor's Office, and that podcast, what he said in the podcast was highlighted by Ken Rosenthal in The Athletic. This is what he said about Judge as the center fielder. No. I do not want Judgy as my center fielder. I just think center fielder is so demanding, dude, and he's such a big guy, and have to demand him to go so far in the gaps and be on the run, you have to cover more ground as a center fielder. The wear and tear on his body, I don't like it. I don't think Booney does either. Now, Boone said at the winter meetings, the Yankees are okay with Aaron Judge every day in center. Now, if they have other things down the pipeline that they're planning, that's the thing to say. So there's no urgency to move a Verdugo. And maybe they're thinking, well, by July, we'll get back Dominguez. Remember, Dominguez is going to be 22 years old. And even Aaron Boone said, there's no guarantee that he's going to be with the Yankees in 2024, even if he's healthy. Maybe they send him back down to the minor leagues if they're playing well. We don't know. But it is not optimum. There was no other deal to make but to get Soto. None. Zero. So I'm not questioning that. But the addition of Verdugo forces you to put Judge in center field. Don, Peter, I don't dig it. I don't think that's the optimum way to build the team.
It's also another question mark around how they handle the bodies that they have on this team, which is one of the biggest problems this team has. Protecting the actual assets that you have on this team. How long can Judge be out there?
I mean, if this is the team that goes into this is the offensive team that goes into the season, he's the center fielder, Peter. Now, unless Brian Cashman is operating on the assumption, which he said in an offhanded remark that got him into trouble, that they expect Stanton to be on the IL at some point. Now, if that happens, then your problem's solved, because what you do then is you put Juan Soto as your DH, Trent Grisham as your center fielder, and then Judge and Verdugo in the corners. That works. But if no one gets hurt, and everybody keeps, Aaron Boone said the other day, well, we expect Stanton to have a comeback season, great season. Well, if he does and he doesn't get hurt, you could say you have a good problem, but it's still a problem nonetheless. And you're forcing Aaron Judge to play center, which I don't think is a good idea.
And then it becomes a countdown, Don, till that dive play, or he runs through a wall, or just some moment that feels like it's inevitable when he's playing every day in the outfield, especially in center field.
Now, nobody is ever going to say that they regret signing Aaron Judge to the contract that they signed him to, but these are some of the things that I'm sure are being talked about when you wanted to extend him, because he's going to be 32 years old. There is issues with his body that makes you wonder, how is this contract going to age? Because right away, now, bang, really the official first year of the contract, right? I mean, the second year of the deal, I don't want to play him center field every day. It's going to wear down that body. He just seems like he's destined to eventually be your DH.
Or your first baseman.
Or first baseman, but still, part of what Aaron Judge makes Aaron Judge is that incredible arm and his ability to play defense. So now you're not going to cash in on that at the end of the contract.
But if you're worried about that, right? If you're worried about wearing him down, then you don't put him in center field. It doesn't make sense.
They have to know that, right? They're as analytically driven as anybody, contrary to what Brian Cashman was saying during the general manager meetings. But they know this. So is this just a way of letting Major League Baseball know, hey, we're perfectly willing to have Verdugo play, and then we'll have Aaron Judge in center field? We don't have to deal him, and then you can maybe get a little bit more when you decide to trade him. Or maybe it's just, hey, we do this, and then come July, we get Dominguez back. If he's going to hit the way he hit before he got hurt, we can put him in center field, and we can figure this all out. Or maybe there is an exit strategy for Stanton at some point. But maybe they're perfectly willing in such an important season, Michael. Is it going to be that terrible if he ends up playing 100-plus games in center field for one season?
No, because you can't quantify the wear down of the body. So yeah, it wouldn't be terrible. He played 18 times last year in center. I think he has over 100 games, and he's actually a pretty decent center fielder. But he's much better right fielder than he is a center fielder. I said this in the early part of the show. I applaud the Yankees vigorously for getting Soto. It's a no-brainer. I don't quite get the Verdugo acquisition. Don't get it.
It is so weird, though. Like, baseball's just strange, right? And I'm not saying anything that you're saying is wrong, but, God, we live in a world where LeBron James is still killing it at, 37, 38 years old, and you're seeing these quarterbacks relying on Aaron Rodgers to save the Jets' season next year. He's going to be 41 in December. We've seen it doesn't seem like in any other sport you worry about wearing somebody down. You play them. But in baseball, that's a major concern. You don't want to get these guys hurt. They end up getting hurt anyway.
Take the wear and tear out, okay? Because that's a fair point. You take the wear and tear because he's a phenomenal athlete. Take the wear and tear out. The Yankee defense is better when he's in the corner. They're better. He's a Gold Glove level right fielder. He's a pretty decent center fielder. So you go from great to pretty decent. Now, we know Soto, the one knock against him, he's not a good defender. So wherever you put him, you're weakening your defense. Again, I don't care because he's going to win you a lot of games with the bat.
Right.
Verdugo is a below-average center fielder and a plus right fielder. So the parts don't fit. They fit only if Grisham's in center.
Well, but Grisham still can be a guy that can be your center fielder, after the seventh inning in close games to strengthen your defense and take, Verdugo out, and then you can just move Judge to right field. Soto's your left field. I mean, there's still going to be times where Grisham's going to come in for defense, right? Now, you're not going to take Judge out in a close game after 7, but you might do. Verdugo might have to sit. I mean, there's still ways that you can use Grisham. He won't be an everyday player, but he can strengthen your defense at the most important times.
See, they had to know. Now, they didn't know for certain that the Soto deal was going to get done. But if they knew that they were going to capitulate on including King, and they had to know that Grisham was also going to be part of the deal. So why take on Verdugo's $9.2 million salary and also some of the baggage that comes with him?
Yeah.
Because I've heard that in Boston, they're thrilled that they were able to get rid of him. So I'm not quite sure. I haven't talked to anybody with the Yankees. Maybe there's a method to their madness, but the Verdugo thing to me, it doesn't pass the smell test. Maybe they flip him and then it becomes clearer. Yeah. And having Aaron Judge as your everyday center fielder also doesn't pass the smell test. There's something that's a little off.
I brought it up to Jeff Passan when we had him on. He doesn't feel like a Yankee. And he's like, he didn't see that there was any appetite to flip him. So I don't know, but it seems that first we speculated, would he be in the deal with the Padres? Obviously he wasn't. They're going to need to make deals to strengthen this pitching staff. Maybe they feel like, all right, maybe we might have to keep him for the first couple of months of the season. Maybe he tears it up and we can get something for him. I'm sure they're going to work it. I can't imagine that they took on that kind of salary and bring in a player that they weren't in love with just in case the Soto deal didn't come through.
Maybe.
I can't imagine. Do you think that's the insurance policy? But do you
believe in your heart of hearts that there were teams like knocking down the door for Verdugo?
No.
I mean they could have waited to see if they did the Soto deal before they did, because making both of those deals, they don't quite fit, especially with Grisham being included.
The fact that the Yankees and Red Sox made a deal to begin with tells you the Red Sox obviously didn't want him. Wouldn't that scare you that the Red Sox were willing to give him to you?
And from what I've heard, I think Cashman said it today, the Yankees been trying to get Verdugo since the All-Star break last year.
I don't know. They'll figure out some way to work it out, but it does seem like there'll be a bit of a log jam there, too, because in July, you were going to get back Dominguez. He is a part of your future. He was tearing the cover off the ball before he got hurt. What are you going to do with him?
Well, I think it's the best deal possible for Alex Verdugo, because with the Yankees grooming rules, he has to get rid of that hideous beard, the worst beard in Major League Baseball, worst beard in sports.
It's not good.
Strong.
It's not good.
Take a look, Peter. Take a look. It's dreadful.
Peter, don't even bother looking. It would be as if Anthony Pusick was playing Major League Baseball.
Wait, this is the Verdugo beard?
Yeah, except it's not the same type of, but it's just as heinous.
Let's see. Let me take a look again.
It's just not. Listen, he might be a great guy, just not. And this is from one ugly person to another. Not a handsome man.
I don't think he's not good looking. I just think the beard.
I don't think the beard works.
But he's not a bad looking guy.
He's not a good-looking guy. I mean, why are we not? Like, this is the problem with America. It's okay. He's a pro ball player. It worked out for him. He's going to be just fine. He's many things. Good-looking is not one of them.
I don't go there because who am I?
We're just having fun. I mean,
fine. You're also not good-looking, but that doesn't mean that's all the more reason you should have expertise in saying it.
Let's go to Jim in New Jersey. Jim.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
Good.
Long-time listener.
Thanks.
The conversations on the outfield and such, they're all valid for right now. But as a 73-year-old Yankee fan who literally goes all the way back to Johnny Padres at 55, I'm kind of like just want to relate that the Yankee fans, younger than me, they're in for a treat. they're not going to see a combo like Judge and Soto that I can remember. And I loved Mickey Mantle. He was my hero. And Roger Maris was a great player. There's no question about it. But Roger, rest in peace, is never going to be as good a hitter as Soto. The outfield, okay, can't compare. Roger was a great outfielder. But I just want them to enjoy it. And historically, it's the best I can see. It's made for the Yankee fan.
No, you know what? It's a very rational take, and I'm glad that we finally got one. And again, people shouldn't worry about his defense, because the best thing to say is, last time I checked, Ted Williams was not a great outfielder. He's just one of the greatest hitters of all time. And when you look at Soto's stats and you stack them up the players through their age 24 season, the comparison with Ted Williams was very, very real. Let's go to Arthur in Astoria. Arthur.
How you doing, Mike, Don, and Peter?
What's up? How are you?
I've called a few times. I'm doing okay.
Good.
But I wanted to just say something, because I've called a few times, but I never mentioned this. A few years ago, I was in the hospital for about 5 months, and I listened to you guys every day that I could. Mm-hmm. And you just made my day and brightened my outcome.
Thank you.
I really mean that.
You're doing okay now?
I really do. Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Good.
I'm doing better, Don. It's a constant battle, doctors and whatever.
Well, hang in
First of all, I want to say that obviously the Soto deal was a non-brainer. I can't agree with you more, Mike, about Judge, and that's one thing that worried me. But you got to go for the Judge deal. Now, Don, I wanted to make a point with you. I'm a Yankee fan for a long, long time. And realistically, there's no way, I don't care what kind of fan you are, you can expect the Yankees to win every year. It's just impossible. You look at all the teams in baseball, you look at Toronto, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, what they've done. It's inconceivable. And I just enjoy watching the Yankees and a good product. When Judge went for his 62 home runs, I was watching every day, no matter if they weren't going to the World Series. And last year, the product was just so bad, I couldn't even enjoy watching the game. I listened to Mike and David Cohn. It was good, but I really couldn't enjoy watching them. Especially, I'll give you an example. I would watch the Atlanta Braves, and I would marvel at their lineup, and they get bounced out in the first round. The Dodgers get bounced out. There's no way, I don't care how much money you spend, you could have 9 all-stars on your team. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win a world championship.
I mean, I love it, Arthur, and I just hope more people like you call the show during the course of the season. And again, I've been doing this, guys, for 25 years, and I've been on the Michael Kay Show now 21 years. So we've been through a lot of ups, a lot of downs, mostly ups. But for the fan base that wins as much as the Yankees do, there's been a lot of complaining. Even Arthur's saying about how miserable last year is, you still finished above 500. Now, I agree, it was not a great season and didn't live up to the expectations, but God, it's not like you've had to not once in 30 years have you had to worry about, having a 90-loss season, being out of it at the All-Star game. So I wish that there would be more people during that whole summer, Peter, right? Am I wrong? Instead of calling up just marveling at Aaron Judge, it was complaining about Gallo striking out all the time. And Donaldson not doing this, and IKF not doing that. It's just, I wish fans would really appreciate what is a New York gift, because nobody has been as good as the Yankees over the last 30 years. No one, not even close. Everybody's gone through a rebuild. Everyone's gone through a miserable season. So I really wish that we would hear more of those phone calls like we got from Arthur.
I also would like to say, Verdugo's not a bad-looking guy.
Yeah, I agree. He's not.
He has a couple of photos out there when you image search them that aren't terrific, but he's fine.
No, the beard is bad. I don't say the look is bad.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's some things to work on there, but I think he's going to be just fine.
Maybe you become a confidant for him.
I mean, I could maybe guide him into a better beard situation. I developed my beard, put some work into it.
And then, well, he can't wear a beard as a Yankee, so don't guide him into that.
Great point. So that part's easy.
Did you see Cameron Maben's tweet today?
I did.
I mean, he's not wrong. Now, again, it doesn't, I guess, if it's not going to change anybody's mind, but...
Why don't you tell everybody what he said?
I am going to punch.
Go ahead, tell us.
I'm going to punch it up because this is.
You want to read the quote verbatim?
Well, I want to be able to give it its gist. He says this might be an unpopular take to Yankee fans, but would you be surprised how much more attractive the Yankees would be if they got rid of that facial hair rule? You won't believe how many quality players just think it's a whack rule to have. I mean, come on, we're coming up on 2024. Let that go already, and I swear it would be more appealing. Again, this only comes from conversations I've had and experience from actually playing. Like, so, I mean, again, it hasn't hurt them. There has been one player that refused to go here, but, this is Cameron Maben. He's just played. He's been around baseball a long time. Former Yankee saying that he thinks it's whack, and a lot of players think it's whack as well.
Well, I love Cameron. I mean, I consider him a very good friend. But I don't agree with that take because there's not one player. The most famous players in baseball, Randy Johnson, Johnny Damon, not one stood up and said, I'm not doing it. Not one. So they can complain all they want behind the scenes. But until it costs the Yankees a player and the Yankee family likes the way it looks and the way the team is represented, it's not going to change, and it shouldn't, unless there's one player who said, I'm not coming.
All right, but why not get out in front of it? Because what Cameron is telling you is the day may come, and we're probably a lot closer to that day coming than not. And now, you come off a rough season. Now everything's great now. They got Soto. Maybe they'll get Yamamoto, and they'll continue to win, and it won't matter. But why not get out in front of it rather than have the embarrassment of changing it because there's a player out there that says no? I mean, I don't get what you're holding on. I think it's a silly rule now. It made sense back in the day, like 50 years ago. I understand honoring your father's wishes, but the life has changed. You got to evolve. I'm sorry. Wearing a beard is not disrespectful. And you see how the players are gaining more power, Michael. Why put yourself in a situation where you're going to be forced to change it? Why not get out in front of it?
Because I don't think that any player is going to make that stand. They could play for the Yankees, make a truckload of money, and become famous in New York. If Johnny Damon cut his hair, and if Randy Johnson's a Hall of Famer. Didn't even complain about it.
You're referencing people from so long ago.
It's not that long ago. Johnny Damon was here in 2010.
15 years ago. I mean, it's going on.
Okay, but there's got to be people that they acquired. Jordan Montgomery pitched for the Yankees forever. He goes to the Cardinals. He grows a full beard. He never asked to grow a beard with the Yankees.
But you even admitted, Michael, that they would probably have to change it if there was a significant player that refused to do it.
Right, and it hasn't happened.
It hasn't. But if you know you're going to have to do it, and you think we're ever going to trend backwards? I mean, we're trending towards.
Take your fandom away. That there's something. I mean, Peter's going to jump me for this. That there's something don't you think there's something charming about it? An antiquated rule like that players follow because it's been done this way forever? It's kind of charming.
Young players love that charm. Yeah, they really.
24-year-olds have but you don't think there's something charming about the Yankees being well groomed?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess, but Cameron Maben's telling you that players think it's whack. Now, because the Yankees spend the most money and because the Yankees have a chance to win every year, it hasn't become an issue. But I don't know what you're holding on to. And we're trending more towards the players having power. Hey, Michael, let's be honest. Aaron Judge is a de facto general manager of the team. So players have a major say. Why would you do something that irritates the players?
Well, we'll see. Maybe that's what Cameron's saying, but no Yankee is. I mean, if Aaron Judge went up to Hal Steinbrenner, he has a direct line to him, right? And said, I think we should bag this rule. I think it would be done. I don't think Aaron Judge is doing that.
Well, Aaron Judge, very lucky that Aaron Judge is a very respectful guy that seems to kind of be trending more old school. I guarantee if they waived it tomorrow, half the Yankees on opening day would have beards.
And they'd look different. It wouldn't look like the Yankees. And you're right. It would eventually be accepted, but I think there's something nice about it. If they change, would it upset me a bit? No. But I think there's something nice about it.
But you think there's something nice about it, and you're 30 years removed from the age of the oldest player they'd be looking to get.
I get it, but Aaron Judge has a direct line to the Steinbrenner family. All he has to do is go up there and say this has to change. And you know what? Probably would. He hasn't done it. He just hasn't done it. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. When I'm getting ready for a game, I have to be prepared. I have my lineup cards, the latest teams.
I'm Jessie Dover, co-founder of Dagny Dover. New York isn't for the faint of heart. The gear you carry around not only has to look good, but it has to work even better. That's why we create bags like the Landon Carryall, a bag that allows organizational junkies like me to be ready for whatever life brings. A bag that allows me to feel good about the things I carry. After all, this city is a reflection of who I am, purposeful, resilient, and ready to face whatever comes my way.
It started when he ordered his Brunt work boots. He's going on about how they're comfortable as sneakers, but he never takes them off. With his buddies at night, I caught him in the shower, and he just goes, "What? They're waterproof."
Brunt, the tools you wear. Get tools that bring every angle of your beauty business together. Clients can book online 24/7 for multiple services and multiple staff, so scheduling is simple. And with client notes and stored payments, you can offer seamless checkouts, so clients keep coming back. Run your beauty business with tools that bring everything together. Get started at square.com today.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold? What do water pipes
Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
There are things that I can get from The Athletic that I can't get from other places, especially in women's sports. It's the outlet that I consider to be the most equitable when it comes to covering women's and men's sports. The Athletic also provides in-depth coverage of my teams that aren't in my city. It makes me feel at home even when I'm not there.
Your favorite thing delivered right to your door means that you never have to stop doing your other favorite thing. Nailed it. Order McDelivery in the app.
Dale just saved big on a Bluetooth speaker at Amazon. And oh boy.
Mamacita.
Shop last minute deals now at Amazon. Get it, mama.
When you order Domino's online, we'll give you a free pizza to use for a future pizza emergency. So you'll have a free pizza when you need it most. Get your emergency pizza when you order Domino's online.
There you go. Thank you. Bye.
Dinner's ready. Dear Santa, my mom says I'm a good helper, but you didn't come last year. I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too.
Donate today.
Joe cooking. Oh, let me see the moves. You got the whole world looking like the same kind of magic taking hold of you.
If you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now. Download the Yes app and experience the game in a whole new way with live stats, pick and play, and Yes rewards. If you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free.
All right, so this is a story from 1976 in the Times by Murray Chess. And this is George Steinbrenner. I have nothing against long hair per se, but I'm trying to instill a certain sense of order and discipline in the ball club because I think discipline is important in an athlete. They can joke about it as long as they do it. If they don't do it, we'll find a way to accommodate them somewhere else. I want to develop pride in the players as Yankees. We can get them to feel that way and think that way, fine. If they can't, we'll get rid of them.
And that's if an owner said that today, he'd be laughed at. Because you can't. He was a militaristic type of guy, George, and that's where that came from. And in 1976, I think you can get away with it. I don't know if you can get away with that now. You know, players want to be able to express themselves, and also, you know, the discipline aspect. We've seen you don't have to be that way in order to win. Keeping the players in line, all of that makes sense at the time. It doesn't make sense anymore, Michael.
Okay,
that's not how players are motivated.
If it doesn't mean anything, why do they make you do it in the military? They don't let you have long hair and a beard in the military.
Well,
why?
you know, these are people that are fighting for our country and putting their lives on the line, not Major League Baseball players.
I understand, so they should be able to do whatever they want.
No, the point of doing it in the military is you don't want any individuality. Everyone's a part of one thing. They take orders and they do what they must do to win. It's a little bit different with multimillionaire baseball players who are trying to find their best professional version of themselves.
Yeah. And when you get into the military and you're going through boot camp, you're a grunt. You're worthless. You're weak, and they're trying to build you up into a machine to defend this country. That's not what. You know, I'm sure George was thinking that way when you can look at players like that back in the day. It has not aged well, and the fact that the Yankees have been able to win, and George is a beloved guy now. It carries a little weight, Michael, but when you read that statement and that's what it's based off of, it just doesn't apply anymore. It just doesn't.
I think discipline always applies.
Discipline to the cause, but discipline to take the individuality out of a player when the sport is looking for individuals. You know, if you bat flipped in 1976 and singled yourself out, you were in a minority. Now it's the majority of players.
But how could anybody complain when Aaron Judge doesn't complain? He's a leader of the team.
But Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. I mean,
Shohei Ohtani doesn't have a beard. I mean, there are a lot of great players that don't need facial hair to express themselves.
Michael, no, this argument is so challenging.
I don't want to make it. I don't have to defend the Yankee rule.
You keep throwing out like these random names. Well, if one person doesn't like it, we're just saying overall it doesn't help.
I don't think it hurts though, Peter, because the players that they've gotten that. I mean, Johnny Damon was a mangy mess with the Red Sox. Mangy, whatever it is. He called himself an idiot. Came to the Yankees, he got a short haircut, cut his beard. You know what? Right. He won a World Series with them. It didn't affect them.
Right, and they won a World Series when he was mangy. You know, I just think
thank you.
You live in a world where now the players have been given a lot more power, and I think people now look at treating players like that it's a different world now. They become partners. They're making so much more money. Aaron Judge is somebody that's involved with the decision making in the organization now. So to treat players as if they're just spare parts and that everybody's the same, clearly that's changed now. You know, look at the salaries when George said that in 1976, where managers sometimes were making more money than the players. So it's a different world. You're right, it's not hurting them, but you even admitted at some point it may. So why not get out in front of it instead of having to change it because it begins to affect you? Just in a different world now.
I think you don't change it if you believe in it. And if the family believes in it and somebody doesn't want to play here because they want to have a beard, let them go.
But I think you're in my opinion, you're believing in something that is convoluted and is not aged well.
Who, me? I'm not. It's not my
Not you.
point to defend
I'm
this.
saying the organization. Based on that quote, that would not fly today. It just wouldn't.
But it's flying. Nobody's growing a beard. It's flying.
Well, because they've been fortunate enough, because it's a great place to play, and because they've got a chance to win, that it hasn't affected them yet.
But how can you absolutely know that there was no one out there who it was part of several things that made them think, I'm not interested?
Don't know that. They seem to get the players they want.
Well, now they do, but when they were losing, they didn't. You know, all those players, Barry Bonds didn't want to come and play here.
Not because of a beard.
Well, no, but I'm just saying is that, you know, all of this stuff works when you're winning,
Listen,
but if you're not winning...
Listen, I don't mind a good argument. This, to me, I'm not defending the Yankee policy. I don't want to talk about this. It's
all right,
stupid.
fine.
Why do I have to defend it?
Because you're defending it.
I want to defend it. I'm just saying it's stupid. They've never lost a player because of the hair.
Right,
and you guys are making a big deal out of it.
All right, but they're just arguments. We disagree.
Wrong.
Oh. I'm going
to sit here and defend this rule that's been in place since he bought the team in '73. It's not for me to defend it.
Well, then why do you defend it?
Because I'm trying to explain it. They have never lost a player because of a beard. And the guys that are known for wearing beards and long hair obliged, and they shaved without a complaint.
Well, they don't. But this team doesn't win anymore. They're not winners right now. They don't have the same cachet. When Damon came there, it was fresh off them just winning and winning.
No, it's not. They were losing. They hadn't won a World Series in a long time. He came from a team that won a World Series. He joined them, and they won a World Series in 2009. That's not true.
Well, hold on. He came there in the mid-2000s when the cachet was still super high.
You know what?
From
There's
the Core 4 World Series right before that.
There's still a cachet.
Not the same as there was then.
And I got a buddy of mine who says on discipline, they want everybody to shave, but Boone won't say anything if the guys don't run hard. He'll defend them. Like, because that's the way you got to do it now, because the player, it's a different world now. I just think, I don't know why you get so frustrated. We're just arguing on a topic.
You win. Let them grow hair. I don't care. This is nonsense to me. Every couple of months I have to defend this crap. It's not my point to defend it.
Don't defend it.
Because I don't believe it's that big of a deal, and I think it's a nice, charming thing. They're not hurting anybody. Any idiot player who needs long hair to perform, you don't even want him anyway. That's ridiculous. They can all grow beards in the winter. You can't tell me that there are businesses in the world that you have to be well-groomed when you go in there. You can't just be a slob.
But
there are standards.
Having a beard is not being a slob.
I'm not a slob.
There are
Peter's not a
businesses,
slob.
there are pinstripe businesses. I'm not talking about the New York Yankees. There are financial firms that you cannot look like that. You cannot have a long hair. You cannot have a beard.
Well, I think what it's more about is what it connotes in terms of that. And there is a certain, when we talk about all the great things about the Yankee organization, and there are a lot of great things, one of the downsides that is out there is a stuffiness that's associated with this team. We've talked about this every year. Tom, we talk about it even with sort of the way that they show their emotions on the field. They're not the most fun-loving team, and that is a little piece culturally of the pie.
Well,
I don't see how that's a relevant thing.
One of the great bat flippers of all time is Juan Soto. They're not going to stop that. You're allowed to be individual. They can celebrate if they want.
So I just think you're kind of holding on to something that doesn't have the same meaning anymore. That's all.
So Matt goes, it's amazing how out of touch Michael is. He sounds like such a goon. Players will flat out say it's something that affects their decision-making, but he's so old-fashioned and refuses to admit anything negative about the organization. Hey, Matt, tell me one player, that they've lost because they won't let them grow a beard. I want to know the one guy who told the Yankees, take your money and take a walk because I want to grow a beard. I'm not out of touch. That's reality, baby. Tell me one player that has turned them down. One.
But you did just acknowledge to me that you might not know if it was a subtle factor for a player.
Bryce Harper said he would cut his beard to play for the Yankees. That's modern.
Did he?
Is that modern enough for you?
I don't know. Is he here playing?
Because they didn't want him. I don't understand that. I can't defend that. They didn't want him. He was willing to cut his beard and his hair. Everybody is. I'm not the one out of touch. I'm talking facts. Tell me the player that said, I'm not coming here because I need a beard to be better.
No, it might have cost an extra few million. I don't know. When you're paying the most money and you got the best chance to win, it puts you in a good spot. If God forbid, they do run into a couple of years where they can't sign free agents because their team isn't any good, then what?
Let's see when it happens.
Oh, there we go.
Let's see when it happens. I mean, listen, you have a legitimate point if it happens. Present it to me that it happened. Then they might change the rule tomorrow. I have no idea. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I'm just saying, you haven't had a losing season in 30 years, so you're kind of coming from that area of strength. If all of a sudden you hit the skids for 4 or 5 years, I guarantee you they'd have to waive it.
I don't think it's a huge deal either. I don't think Mabin thinks it's a huge deal. He kind of presented it like it's not a huge deal, but that he does think it's antiquated.
It is antiquated.
And that he thinks other players may think it's antiquated.
Okay, but you know what? They certainly abide by it, do they? Don't they? The biggest names in the sport. Garrett Cole had a long hair when he played for the Astros and the Pirates. It's gone, isn't it?
Right. Well, he's also getting paid $36 million.
But every team wanted him. The Dodgers are willing to pay him that, too. I mean, you're throwing money at me. Not one player has refused to cut their hair. So what is Cameron talking about? Michael K. Show Holiday Party returns tomorrow, December 8th, at your mother's house in Garden City Park, Long Island, with special guest appearances by Amani Toomer and Rick DiPietro. Increase your chances of winning one of the holiday giveaways by bringing up the 3 toys for donations. Mark your calendars and get ready to spread some cheer at the Michael K. Show Holiday Party tomorrow afternoon at your mother's house in Garden City Park, Long Island. Brought to you by Momentum Solar, the New York Islanders, Jake's 58 Casino Hotel, Yingling Traditional Lager, and Flight by Yingling, the perfect beers for the holiday season. Security Dodge. Visit securitydodge.com. Come get some selection and benefiting the Garden of Dreams Foundation. Peter Fandel. You know, it's wrong to assassinate Zach Wilson's character because of a source. I find that laughable. I mean, I blame the source. I did agree with Rogers on that. You know, your source, and put your name to it if you really want to assassinate his character. But it's not up to you to protect Zach Wilson's character. That stuff was told to you by somebody. So do you, when you hear him say stuff like that, what's your reaction, Diana?
Yeah, Michael, I work for The Athletic, which is owned by the... I can't just take the word or just a text message or one quick phone call. Right. Or from just one person close to Zach Wilson or one person close to the Jets. It doesn't work like that. And I think sometimes people forget because there is so much bad journalism out there right now that it's hard to trust. But I can tell you, I've been working at The Athletic for 3 months, and it takes a lot to get a story published in terms of the screening of it and the people that have to be part of it. And it can't be low-level people. It has to be people that are in the situation, that are close to the situation. It has to be multiple. And that's why I stand by my reporting, because, as you know, when you have all the information and all the main players are aware of it, all I can do is just report what I know, and that's what I've done. And, look, the Jets have to do what they have to do to clean this up, because it looks bad right now as they're trying to just get through this regular season so they can just get to next year.
Have you been able to glean anything about what the hell has really happened at quarterback beyond Rodgers? Because, Diana, we talk to Coach Saleh every week and kind of try to push what exactly is happening. Why are we not able to get, like, any sort of representative offense on this team? What do you understand about what's happened at the quarterback position throughout the year?
They're just struggling in general with having someone step into the role and play at a high level. Why didn't they go get Joe Flacco? I don't know. Right. They never even reached out to him. There were a lot of different reasons for why they didn't go to certain players, and I don't know what they all are. I don't know who had all the say in all of this, but it made this mess. You know, going back to before the trade deadline, why aren't the Jets trading? Well, it's from the business side of it. At the time, hey, you know, maybe they just don't want to give up all They don't want to give up anything knowing Aaron's coming back. They don't want to have to pay another guy. And I was buying it because it was like, okay, well, you guys know your book's better than I do. This would make sense. But we saw what happened after that because there is a need at the quarterback spot. And Zach Wilson wasn't the answer then. He's not the answer now. He's not going to be the answer this weekend if they name him the starter. It's been known. And they really, in my opinion, I don't know this. This is just my opinion. I think the second Aaron Rodgers went down, they all just ran to the corner and said, let's just hope we can get through this year. Let's just get through the year because the expectations now are impossible to live up to because we don't have one of the greatest players to ever play the game on the field.
Well, how bad would that be, considering, look at the league. Look at the teams that have been able to win with backup quarterbacks, Diana. Look at the teams that have been able to function offensively with awful quarterbacks at times, and they've got one of, if not the best defenses in football. So to run and hide and say, just get through the year, they had ways to salvage this.
We saw it last night. We saw it with the Bengals. Joe Burrow is not out there, and the Bengals are winning. I covered the Cleveland Browns. I cover all the teams, but I talked to the Browns a lot. 4 different quarterbacks they've been able to put together, and they have a great defense too, just like the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, the culture there is not, oh, we don't have a quarterback. The culture is, we got to just keep winning. We got to win. Let's just keep winning. And all around the league, you're seeing it, and it's hard. It is hard. You feel for these guys. I think we all feel for the Jets situation, knowing how excited they were and what they did to get Aaron Rodgers in the building. So to see that the way this has looked, and Aaron said it on the Pat McAfee show, this has been a horrible year, and you felt it when he said it, because this is not what they were hoping for, and the fact that this team has looked as bad as it has after Aaron Rodgers went down, I think that's the reason why we're seeing so much of, the ugliness and the blemish has really come out.
We appreciate you coming on. I know you got to pick up the kids. Love talking to you.
How do you know that?
Because I know these things. I got a source.
Peter can't keep his mouth shut.
Reading my text messages on the air.
It sounds like another talk show host in town.
Yeah, that happens in New York. But thank you for coming on.
I love you. Of course.
And happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays.
So that's Diana Rossetti. One thing, I think she got a call. What she said, The Athletic is owned by the New York Times.
Right. That got lost.
Right. So the New York Times, I think you have to have like 2 or 3 well-placed sources. You have to tell the editors exactly who the source is before it can run. So it's not like you could get, Bernie the janitor told you that this is what it has to be somebody that's deemed a high-ranking person in order to run with it. So I think the Jets are just trying to put a spin on this, guys.
Yeah, and you know what? Rodgers is smart in the sense that there is so much bad media out there, as Diana said, that it's easy to kind of poke holes in any story, not realizing how vetted some of these stories are by professional organizations like The Athletic. So you have so many blogs and even radio stations and newspapers that don't vet these stories, and bad things end up happening through that. And there's enough of that there that you can get the general public to not believe anything that is said by the media. We've seen this in politics as well. But, to know that when she gave that story, and it's true about how hard they worked to verify everything, and for her to say, this is not one person telling her this. It's multiple people. This is all over the room. Michael, she spoke with conviction. That's why she, with confidence, was able to tell that story. This isn't some disgruntled employee whispering something in her ear. This is something she found out from multiple sources. She did the work. Aaron should really apologize to her because unfortunately, Aaron's words have power. And he's wrong to try to bring her down on a story that she did the work on.
And then also denying that he spoke to him. And then Diana said, I know for a fact that he did. Yeah. So, well, again, you can say what you want, because the way it is now, we have been drilled in this country to think of alternative facts, fake news, and all that. So whenever you get zapped or you get caught, just say, it was AI. It wasn't me. Well, I wasn't there. I mean, and it's hard for people to believe. They don't know who to believe. And the New York Times does get things wrong every now and then.
But like Diana said, Aaron Rodgers, of course, is going to deny that he spoke to Zach because that would be confirming the story.
Right.
So he had no choice but to deny that. But
just from hearing Diana, Zach doesn't look good. I don't want to play.
Oh, I listen.
Once I heard he was being open.
Once I saw her name on it, honestly, I'm not. Just saying this as a former colleague, but I know her work. I know her. She's really good at what she does. I believe the story. I believe it even more after hearing her.
But she added that little wrinkle to it that, like, this was just straight up common knowledge. He wasn't. That's why she's so confident. He wasn't being tight-lipped about it. He was telling people it's how he felt.
All right, so let's spin this back to Sala from yesterday. Real quick, I'm sorry. You know better than me, Michael, as far as the time. I won't say anything now.
Okay. Because we have our special guest coming.
That's what I mean. So that's why I didn't want to step on your toes.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to say it right up front. I love this guy's stand-up, and I watched the 2 episodes of Bookie that are available on Max, and it's really...
You saw him at the Garden, too, didn't you?
I did see him at the Garden, so I've seen all of his specials. I think he's great, so I am not going to be unbiased on this. I think he's terrific, and I'm so glad that he could join us now. Here is Sebastian Maniscalco. The new show is called Bookie, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But Sebastian, it's Michael Kay, Don LaGreca, Peter Rosenberg. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here today.
This show is unbelievable. I mean, it's I guess you'd call it a comedy, but it's so gritty and real. What's your feel about what you've done so far on the show?
I'm really happy about it. It's I really have a great time shooting this. Omar Dorsey and I, we hit it off right from the screen test. I felt like I was hanging around with a guy I knew for 10 years, and I think you kind of see that in the TV show. It feels like we've known each other for a while, and just to get to explore the world of gambling upon pending doom in California here, where legalized gambling could happen at any minute. I like it. I mean, you see a bookie who's got a sense that he's sensitive. He's got a stepson who's a little off the beaten path. He's into anime. He's dressing up, and you see him try to be a father figure to this kid. He's not only navigating his professional life in this show, but also his personal life. He's got a wife that wants him to maybe get out of the business. So. Yeah, I've never seen a show that dealt with like a bookie in this way, and the fact that Chuck Lorre is behind it, and Nick Bakay, who's also a writer, who's very familiar with gambling, it's exciting.
It seems.
Were you? Sorry. No,
go ahead.
Sebastian, were you close to this character? Did you know any bookies coming up? Obviously, that used to be a thing that was very common, that, one day people won't even know about the bookie life. But was it something you saw and knew growing up?
I never used a bookie. I knew guys that had a bookie, particularly in college. I went more towards the table games. I used to gamble in Las Vegas and try to win money, so I didn't have to work at my day job, so I could concentrate on comedy, and that didn't work. So I found out the only way you win at a casino is you perform there. That's the only way you walk out with money. So that's the route I took. But no,
it's worked out for you.
Yeah, it worked out for the better. But no, I don't have any real experience, calling in, at 11:45 going, yeah, give me the Bengals and the over. I don't have that experience.
I think it was Tim Allen that said that when he was a stand-up, that he felt like if I just go out to Hollywood, I think they're just giving out acting roles when you get off the plane. Obviously, it's not that easy, but we've seen so many stand-up comedians become actors. What is it about stand-up that makes the transition so seamless?
Well, for me, it's not seamless. For me, it
looks seamless to you, though, man.
I get a lot of anxiety doing these acting jobs. I like acting. I like exploring different characters, but I don't have a lot of experience doing it. And the more experience I have, the more confident I become in this side of the entertainment business. I like acting because it takes me away from stand-up, and you can't always do stand-up. You got to come up with material. There's other worlds in the entertainment business that I like to explore. And when this opportunity came across, Chuck wanted to do the show. I actually pitched him a show centered around my life, And then he came up with this, and I go, man, your idea is a lot better than mine. I'm actually kind of tired of playing me. I did it in About My Father. I did it 6 years ago, in a pilot that we did with Tony Danza. So this was a nice departure for me of not to have the pressures of playing me and playing another characters. So yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like this show in particular. It shoots in L.A. So I got 2 kids. They're 6 and 4. I got a wife. It's nice to come home and sleep in your own bed. About My Father was 9 weeks in Mobile, Alabama, wondering, what am I doing here? I got a family. So this was nice. I was a lot more at ease on this shoot than I was ever before.
You know, you said that, you know, you're still not real comfortable acting, but I mean, about My Father, you're opposite Robert De Niro. I mean, how intimidating was that then, Sebastian?
Very. I'm sitting there going, can I pull this off? I'm arguably acting with one of the best actors of all time. He's playing my dad. My dad's on set. De Niro called my father and said, listen, I need you on set to kind of teach me how to do hair, because there was a scene in a salon. And my dad calls me, he goes, De Niro wants me to come for 3 days on set. How much does that pay? I go, what? I go, Dad, you're helping me out here. He goes, I don't care what I'm doing. I got to take 3 days off to come to Alabama. What am I getting? So I had to pay my dad and act like it was studio money. So, yeah, it was surreal, man. If you would have told me growing up in Arlington Heights, Illinois, that I would be starring in a movie opposite De Niro playing my dad, I would have told you were crazy. But that experience was a learning experience for me. I learned a ton from working with De Niro. There was a point where I had to cry on camera. I never did that before. He walked me through that whole process. So, yeah, I felt like I took that experience and built upon it for this show book.
Were you comfortable with the nudity in About My Father? Were you comfortable being butt naked?
That wasn't me.
No, it was a fake butt.
We brought in a stunt butt for that scene.
Oh, man.
And my wife was actually upset. She goes, I don't think the butt really resembles yours, so make sure you tell people that that's not you. I go, they don't care. She was concerned about, that was
the realism.
Like, she was like, oh, that's not really you. I go, well, that's not going to be me, because if you put me on one of those jet boots, for sure I would have broken half.
So, Sebastian, as you know, comedy is an interesting field, the way people sort of emerge. You know, I feel like by the time I got to really know your comedy, you were already in the garden, and my niece and nephew and people were already saying, oh, my God, Sebastian Maniscalco, people already loved you. You had the special in 2019. Obviously, your story is much longer than that and goes back to the early 2000s. Was there one specific moment when the comedy grind really took a turn for you and momentum really started going your way?
Yeah, no, I felt like I've been under the radar this whole time. I had my fans. I worked the comedy clubs for over 10 years. I didn't even want to leave the comedy clubs because I was like, I don't know, can I sell out the Beacon Theater? And then I made my jump to theaters, and then next thing you know, we're in a few arenas around. For me, it happened very slowly, where people, are still discovering my stand-up, which is great. I love when new people jump on board. So, yeah, I felt like I didn't really have any mainstream recognition, and you get kind of mainstream by doing a movie, doing a TV series. You start to broaden your audience. I had a lot of people who come from an immigrant background who kind of like what I was talking about on stage just because it was relatable. And yeah, I talk about being Italian, but if you're Spanish, you're Greek, you're Chinese, whatever background, you have that like maybe immigrant father that you had that relatability with. So now that I've done some things that are a little bit more broader, it's nice to see other people kind of discovering what I do. So, yeah, it's not like I popped. I've been doing this since 1998. I've been kicking around, so it took a while.
It's a tough time for comedians because of there's a lot of sensitivity. People get offended. I mean, how do you navigate through all that?
Yeah, you know what? You don't like to think. You don't want to edit yourself. I think as soon as you start editing yourself, you're not funny. And unfortunately, the environment we're living in, and it's not the majority of people. Believe me, I'm all over the country. People are dying to laugh. People are dying to. They get sarcasm. And it's just this few people out there, not few, but I mean, it's just a minority of people out there that tend to take this literally and have a loud voice about it. And it's unfortunate because, you know, Don Rickles, one of my favorite comedians growing up, he made fun of people. He made fun of himself. He did it in a way where it wasn't malicious at all. It just, you know, you just felt like, I don't know. It's unfortunate that we're living in an environment now where you go, oh, can I say that? You know, what's that gonna do?
But do you sometimes cringe though when there are comedians? Obviously, I'm not going to ask you to name names, though. It'd be great content. Does it ever make you cringe when there's someone who kind of cries cancel culture and you go watch it and you're like, yeah, but your bit just wasn't good. If it was done better, people would have laughed and not been angry.
No, it's funny you even say that. I'm not piped in so much to the comedy world where I know who's doing what, and you know, I'd like to be. It's not like I'm not supportive of my fellow comedians. It's just that I got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a wife, and that's where a lot of the time is spent, is dealing with family. Like, I'm going to see Santa Claus after this. Whereas when I was single, maybe I was, going to the comedy club, hanging around with a bunch of different comedians. But yeah, I don't know, comedians that say that it's cancel culture, listen, you got to work on your material. What I've noticed today is, yes, you have a lot of comedians. A lot of people are touring. You have a lot of comedians coming off the internet. But when I was coming up in '98, you had to go out and do the work. You had to go to a comedy club. You had to perform in a boxing ring. You had to perform on a crate in a restaurant in Santa Barbara for 50 people who had no idea comedy was even happening, right? You had to go through those moments to, build your routine. But now, sometimes it's the internet which makes people explode, which is great. It made me explode. It took my comedy and put it into another stratosphere. But there's no substitute for actually doing the work and going out and performing.
And you will be doing that. It Ain't Right Tour 2024, SebastianLive.com. You can get tickets. I'm a terrible judge of this, Sebastian, because you could put up a test signal with you, and I think it's great. But Bookie is absolutely wonderful. I've seen the first 2 episodes on Max. It's streaming right now. In the first episode, it's first or second episode. I think it's the second with Charlie Sheen, which is unbelievable, especially with his history with Chuck Lorre. I think it's going to be a huge hit for you, Sebastian. We thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you, man.
Well, thanks, guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I don't know if I could say that anymore,
Sure you
but
could.
Merry Christmas.
You're good. Tell Santa we said hello.
I will. Take care.
All right, be good.
Thanks, man.
That's Sebastian Maniscalco. Hey, listen, this is a sports show. If you watch this show, Bookie, and you think about it, Peter and Don, bookies are being phased out. Now, I guess people still...
Oh, it's a great theme.
They still bet with bookies because you don't get taxed if you win with a bookie. So it's all under the table. But most people are betting on apps. But I guess legalized gambling is not happening in California yet. So there's a bookie there that's, he's trying to keep it together until it becomes legalized. So it's really a great concept.
I started episode 1, Michael. You're right. It jumps off the second you start. You're in. It doesn't warm you up.
Yeah.
It jumps right in.
Yeah, it's really good. All right, so we've got a lot of stuff going on. Rossini, Maniscalco, Kay LaGreca, Rosenberg, and you. We'll come back. We got a lot to do, but first, let's see. God, Peter's going to talk about God.
See everything your restaurant can do with tools from Square. Get a POS that connects to a KDS so you can handle orders ASAP. Reach more customers with online ordering and QR codes. Use pocket-sized hardware so you can turn tables faster. And get one account for everything so you can take care of it all and take it easy too. Get your all-in-one restaurant system and sign up at square.com today.
These jeans are woman size 34. That was a wake-up call for me. I'm 42, but my body felt like it was 90 years old. Found paired me with a team of clinicians and found the right medication. I'm down 78 pounds because of Found,
and I'm just getting started. And because of Found, I have more confidence in myself. I'm actually in photos with my family. I'm getting my steps in each day. Found has changed my life. Go to joinfound.com just to see if the program's right for you.
I'm Jessie Dover, co-founder of Dagny Dover. New York isn't for the faint of heart. The gear you carry around not only has to look good, but it has to work even better. That's why we create bags like the Landon Carryall, a bag that allows organizational junkies like me to be ready for whatever life brings. A bag that allows me to feel good about the things I carry. After all, this city is a reflection of who I am, purposeful, resilient, and ready to face whatever comes my way.
I needed something in the shop, comfortable. I wear Brunt boots, as you see, got them on my feet right now. Keeps you warm, it keeps you dry, triple layered comfort.
Comfortable in the morning, comfortable in the afternoon. These feel like kind of like sneakers.
They're waterproof, durable. Been wearing them for over a year now. They're absolutely amazing.
This is the only shoe I wear in here now. Brown boots are cool.
Wearing Brunt boots, my feet, my back, and my legs don't hurt at the end of the day.
Go online and try any of our gear on the job for 30 days, risk-free.
My goal is to become the place where parents and caregivers come to find childcare that works for them.
My goal is to build the largest university in the world.
My dream is to be the telemedicine provider for kids and families to stop generational trauma.
I want to change culture. I want to enable these gaming communities to become self-sufficient. That's the goal. Custom Ink helps to celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Boost your streaming experience with live stats on the Yes app. Real-time features like player stats, game leaders, and play-by-play are available now on phones, tablets, and now on connected TVs. Live stats while you stream, now on the Yes app.
Does it still count as ending the night with McDonald's if you order it for breakfast the morning after? I'm ordering either way. Order McDelivery in the app.
Now's the time to get an exciting new Toyota. Like Camry Hybrid, RAV4, Tundra, and more.
How did you...
Magic.
Right now, get a great deal on a new 2023 Toyota Tacoma with available four-wheel drive. A Kelley Blue Book best resale value.
Come in today.
Toyota. Let's go places.
You are watching Yes.
We're all trying to put together the pieces.
The wheels are turning.
You would want to be able to be on the board.
It is clear they have a plan.
It's going to be chess match. Yankees hot stove is back.
A lot to talk about.
What went wrong? What do we have to do to get better?
Who is he going to sign with? How much is he going to sign for?
Plus, you never know what guests will join us. Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
I'm an actor in an ad that was given 12 seconds to remind you that if you're high, just don't drive. Because if you feel different, you drive different. It's illegal to drive high everywhere anyway.
Tonight on Yes, it's a brand new edition of Yankees Hot Stove. Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and Michael Kay will be in our Yes Network studios with Meredith Marakovitz on the ground in Nashville covering the winter meetings. It's a brand new episode of Hot Stove tonight, starting at 10 o'clock, right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
we're talking about, the in-season tournament, Knicks and the Bucks tonight to see who goes to Vegas. Indiana beat the Celtics last night. The Pelicans beat the Kings. And there was Monday Night Football, so our good buddies at Sports TV Ratings, across the three platforms, Bengals, Jaguars on Monday Night Football, 16.45 million. Celtics and the Pacers, 1.063 million. Pelicans and the Kings, 741,000. Football's king. That's all there is to it.
And and listen, the game may not be what it was, and there might be a lot of penalties. How many penalties did you see in that Cowboys-Seahawks game, right? The fact that Al Michaels had to comment on it. It still, broke records for Amazon. It's just, whatever it is, Michael, whether it's the gambling, whether it's fantasy, or just the fact that it's the perfect television sport. The games aren't inordinately long. There's always interesting storylines. And even with the oversaturation of games literally Thursday through Monday, there's just something about the once-a-week aspect of it that I just think is perfect for the every demographic today.
Winter meetings are going on, and Alex Cora, the manager of the Red Sox, said that he FaceTimed with Aaron Boone earlier today, and Boone had a big smile on his face. He said, so I think something big is about to go down with the Yankees.
Oh, boy.
Boone seemed very confident. He spoke confidently about Yamamoto, said some things about Soto. I don't know if and when it's going to happen. I think the Yankees are definitely in on those two players. So we'll see. The strangest thing that happened today was Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, said that the Dodgers met a couple of days ago in L.A. for 3 hours with Ohtani. From what I know, guys, Ohtani does not like his business out there. So the fact that he said it might lead you to go two ways. The decision has been made that he's going to the Dodgers, or the decision is made they know he's not going to the Dodgers, so they're at least saying that they met with him. Because everybody else that's met with him, because there are rumors that he met in Dunedin with the Blue Jay brass, and when John Snyder, the manager of the Blue Jays, was asked about it, he wouldn't confirm it because Ohtani wants to keep everything on the down low. So I don't know when that's going to break, but I think that when the Ohtani thing breaks, then everything else breaks as well, because the teams that desperately want Ohtani, like the Blue Jays, if they don't, and the Giants, if they don't get him, then they shift their focus to Soto. And that's the only leverage that A.J. Preller has. Maybe those teams will put a better offer out there than the Yankees. But it's just strange that Cora said that, he FaceTimed with Boone, and Boone had a big smile on his face. Boone's just a happy guy in general, but
would he be smiling after what happened to his Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday?
And that he had another bad Monday night pick?
Listen, are we starting to read into people's moods now on what's going to happen? I guess we have no choice.
That felt a little bit reachy to me. I rolled my eyes. I don't know if you could hear it, Don. But when I heard the logic was, we heard that he had a smile on his face on a Zoom.
That's kind of the same logic when, remember, Michael, you always bring up that, Manning's going to go to the Dolphins because he's got a house in Miami. Listen, we'll see. But I do think the Dodgers making it public they met with Ohtani does tell me that they're out or they know they're in. Because everybody was talking about the fact that if he leaks anything out, he's not going, which there's a level of arrogance there, too. I'm just shocked that the Blue Jays are in the running for this.
Well, I've heard, Jack Curry actually reported it today on X, that the Blue Jays spent like $350 million in redoing their ballpark. Mm-hmm. And they were still only 13th or 14th in attendance. So they feel like if they throw 50 or 60 million a year at Ohtani, that's going to open up a whole another market. People are going to come in droves, even from Japan, to come watch the Blue Jays play. Oh. So they think it's a big play because they only have 2 years left of Guerrero and Bichette before they become free agents. So they've got to make it happen.
The one thing I say about the Blue Jays is that it's not just about Toronto, which is a major city. And there's also a great Asian community there, too. Is
the whole country.
You can own Canada.
Yep.
Because they are a national team in Canada. Now, what does that mean to Ohtani? True. I don't know. But you can be in Vancouver, you can be in Edmonton, and they've got Blue Jay games on, and they're talking about the Blue Jays on sports radio because it's all they have from a baseball standpoint. and it's huge. And what happens in Toronto does gravitate around the rest of the country. So is that something important to Ohtani, that he can like literally just take over a country there from a sports perspective? I mean, the Maple Leafs obviously own Toronto, but they don't own Canada because there's other Canadian teams. But he would probably be as big as Connor McDavid is in hockey in Canada for the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, you're talking about a global name playing there. That could make it very attractive for him to go play there. And it's the team they're close, right, Michael? I mean, I know they've been banging on the door and they can't seem to win a big game late in the season, but they've been to the playoffs before. They got loads of talent. I guess that's the reason, right?
But, it is weird. He says he wants to win. I was at a dinner last night in Stamford, and I was told that he's going to return to the Angels. So, I mean, so many people have opinions on this. So many people have different sources. But I was told unequivocally he's going back to the Angels. I don't know if that's true. Because if he goes back to the Angels, does he really want to win? Or is he just looking for comfort? Because the Angels aren't close to winning.
It's interesting. When Machado went to San Diego, it was like, I guess he's not interested in winning. And the next thing you know, San Diego is competing for the division and going to the playoffs, other than this year, right? So, I mean, maybe you feel like that if he goes back there, he has some assurances that maybe they're going to move into a different direction that he's been a part of for the last close to a decade. You get a healthy unit of guys around him. I guess it's not impossible, right, that he might be able to turn it around there.
I think it's impossible.
Really impossible?
I mean, he's probably going to sign a 10-year deal, but the Angels are so far away from winning.
I know,
they're in the same division as the Rangers, the Astros. Seattle is really good.
Yeah,
they collapsed last year.
I know, but if you get the right people in place, Michael, right?
Yeah, but they keep swinging and missing.
Where were the Texas Rangers last year? Where were the Arizona Diamondbacks last year? I don't know why he would believe it, but if you do get the right pieces in play, I don't believe in you can never win someplace, because we've seen the Saints turn it around, the Patriots turn it around. That all of a sudden the Texas Rangers are a major play. I guess outside of the Jets here in New York, but.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to ENN Radio
on TV.
Brought to you tonight by Security Dodge. See Michelle Scalisi and
come get some.
I'd like to start off tonight's ENN, if I can, by saying good evening to Michael.
I love that stink.
Wow. I feel like he knew what he was doing when he
knew exactly what he was doing.
Strong.
He knew. And to Don.
This is not a friend.
And to myself and Don.
He gets Lupica. I get Lupica.
I hope Lupica heard. And to myself and Don. $1 a month for Lupica?
So that's 4 Lupicas for $1.
25 cents a Lupica.
Yeah.
If somebody said you could get shooting from the lip for 25 cents, you know what? I would sign up for that.
Yeah.
No, Don's deal is way better than yours. 4 Lupicas for $1? Kidding me?
But you also get other stuff you might not want to see.
Let's say good evening to myself. Don says he loves Canada. Right. All of a sudden, you want him to defect. And to myself again. To see a guy of that level, who's that famous, the Allstate commercials, multiple-time MVP.
Wasn't Discount Double Check is State Farm?
That's what I said.
You said Allstate.
What did I say? You are correct. And good evening to myself. I think Natalie would actually think that's a really good impression.
Back to the commercials. You spend all this money on sponsors, all this money to get people to be your spokesperson, and yet we can't remember what the commercial is. Does it really work?
I remember.
You remembered, but Peter didn't.
Oh, guys.
I wasn't even sure. I'm still not sure.
Big new smash for the streets. Jacob, is it a Jacob exclusive or an Anthony? An Anthony exclusive. Let's see.
Yeah, New York. What up? It's time, man. New York. What up? It's time, man. New York.
It's called New York State of Mind.
Yeah, New York. What up? It's time, man. New York.
If you only knew the original.
New York.
So he does New York State of Mind, and that's the name of another song.
Well, yeah, but he has two. He has his original New York State of Mind is legitimately almost as famous as the Billy Joel version of New York State of Mind.
Interesting.
This is part two. It's not as nearly as big as his first one.
It's a sequel.
It's a sequel. His first one is the first real song after the intro on his seminal 5-mic classic album.
Well, why wouldn't Billy Joel sue him? Because his New York State of Mind came out first.
Well, two reasons for that. One, because it would make you a herb and a clown to do that. Number two, they were on the same label, so I'm sure it was all worked out and just fine.
Yeah, Columbia.
That's right.
Good.
Not a lot of people, not a lot of artists at that time got the nice, clean, red Columbia label. You know what I mean? Nas was a huge signing for them.
I tell you what, I would be a herb. I would sue so quickly.
Just because you took the name?
Because
even though it has nothing to do with it.
Somebody might say, Alexa, play New York State of Mind. But all of a sudden the Nas thing comes
let me go back to your lawsuit. What's Alexa?
What?
It was 1994. I mean, the idea that you just made up would not hold up.
But now...
You would have to see the future. You would have to go, what if one day there's technology in which we're telling a machine how to automatically play your song?
You know what? That's what the great ones do.
The great lawyers. If you had the right lawyer, he would have been looking into the future and seeing that. It's a good point by you.
Thank you. Have you ever heard Herb?
No, I was afraid to ask, and I get jumped.
Oh man, there'd be a lot. If
what does it being a herb mean?
I would like to open the phone lines. This is rare during it. I want to open the phone lines to only old school New Yorkers. So you have to be between the ages of 35 and 50.
Right.
And try to properly explain to Michael and Don what a herb is.
All right.
Because it's an important piece of New York.
It's not peaches and herb.
No.
It's not Herb Albert.
Oh wow! But you guys are both good references. How popular was Herb Albert?
Well, enough
and
that
the
it was
Tijuana
sampled.
Brass.
Yeah, it was sampled by Biggie.
Well, I know that. Why do you know?
But I wasn't talking specific. I was talking to the greater you.
Right. But why was Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass so popular? What song was it? I know Rise was pretty popular.
Well, Rise was popular. Rise. Well, my favorite. This guy's in love.
But I just don't understand the era in which that was playing on the radio.
And if you really wanted to partake,
it was smooth jazz though.
It would be Herb.
And also iconic album cover.
All right, so Kyle in the Bronx wants to tell us what a herb is.
All right, good.
All right, Kyle, what's a herb?
Hey, Mike, Pete, and Don. So I'm 35 and I'm from the Bronx, and a herb is like a sucker, like you're lame. Like why would you do that?
Huh? Yeah, but why is it called a herb?
He doesn't know that.
That's just a New York thing.
Yeah,
we say.
It's just like somebody named Herb would do that.
He's a sucker. He's a loser. Like
he's a cornball, a herb.
Exactly.
No, that was a great joke.
Well,
why would you do that?
Jimmy in Montclair.
He'll agree.
Jimmy, what's a herb?
Kind of like a nozzle.
Yeah. I mean, loose translation.
I love this. I love being educated.
And I grew up in Jersey, so I'm not even from New York. I'm only 31.
But I think it counts.
But it's out there.
Yeah,
but you don't know the derivation of herb.
No, I've never heard, by the way.
Well, I could have figured out what a herb was. I just didn't know why it's called a herb.
We understand context. We just wanted to know history.
I'll tell you what, I would be a herb.
But the Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass, iconic album cover. You've probably seen it, didn't even realize it was him. It's the woman completely in whipped cream.
Oh, hello.
I'm sure you've seen it.
I'm going to see it right now.
I bet my parents had the album. I remember as a kid, like, oh my God.
You know what? I don't.
You've seen that, right? It's all over the place. It's for whatever reason.
I don't know if it's all over the place, but I've seen it.
But you've seen it.
But I dig for records. I've seen it. Yeah. I don't know that I would have seen it otherwise, though. Wow, she's an attractive lady as well.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't hurt.
There's something there.
Now, in the Big Lebowski, when he's flipping through the albums, it's in there.
Oh. By the way, my jukebox having big problems. This guy Terry came over to help me, and I spent a pretty penny to have Terry help me with the jukebox.
So he's a Terry.
It turns out to be a herb.
Yeah.
No,
Terry is somebody who comes over your house and destroys it.
Hold on.
like a sucker, like you're lame. Like, why would you do that?
Like, why would you do that, Terry?
No, he was good, but I'm not going to lie. He fixed a major problem that needed to get fixed. But since then, almost nothing is playing on it. It is...
No, so it's pretty much a piece of furniture now.
It's well, at the moment, we're going to be okay. Jukeboxes are like cars.
Is this a Rockola?
It is. Oh, look at you. You know the name of a jukebox company. I mean,
you're just trying to include yourself in the conversation.
Name another one. Name another one. We'll have a conversation.
I can see it too.
There's a few that are well known.
All right, just do
anybody? Nobody knows another jukebox company.
When you say it, I'll be like, oh yeah.
Well, this one's probably a little harder, but you might know it. AMI.
Okay. Yes.
And obviously Wurlitzer.
Okay.
So
I'm sure AMI. I'm sure it was in a bowling alley someplace.
Beautiful machines.
I'd like to get one. I just don't have the room anymore. The kids have taken over.
Yeah, they would end up being the kids would love it, but then they destroy it. All right. Let's ask
Seaberg.
Seaberg is big too.
Yeah,
that's the.
See, Michael just thirsts for knowledge.
Someone told him though.
Yeah, my friend Google.
Your friend Google said Seaberg. Use Google, not YouTube, not Google's son. YouTube.
Just I hate Google's son.
But the father.
You know, Google's son is a herb.
Yeah, but let's hear from Amani Toomer, not a herb, but he was on with DNR. Should the Giants start Tyrod Taylor or Tommy DeVito?
I put in Tyrod. Tommy DeVito he's under contract for next year, so there's no real concern about keeping him along. Tyrod Taylor, on the other hand, his contract's expiring. You're going to have to make some decisions in the off season. Daniel Jones is injured, so you don't know when he's going to come back. So you're going to have to carry 3 quarterbacks at the least. Maybe you might even put one on the practice squad somehow to try and keep that position more stocked up than usual as Daniel's coming off of his injury. And then who knows what's going to happen in the draft. So I feel like you need to find out more about what Tyrod Taylor can bring.
See, but here all due respect to Amani.
You're giving him all due respect.
You know what Tyrod Taylor could do. He's been in the league 13 years. There's nothing else to know. You know what he is. He's a great backup quarterback.
He'll be fine. He could keep it together.
Right. You can either sign him knowing what you know, or you can elevate Tommy DeVito to the backup quarterback next year if he shows you a lot over the final however many games. So, if you don't know about Tyrod Taylor now, you never know.
And Tyrod's up. It was a 2-year deal?
Yeah, 2 years, $11 million.
So you're done after this year anyway.
Right. Then if you bring him back, you're going to bring him back on his reputation and what he's done.
He's going to be a very expensive backup. So I don't know if...
Not as expensive as Zach Wilson.
No.
I wonder when a player accepts and then learns to enjoy. I'd love, we need to interview a good backup quarterback. There's an order of things that could have led to a really funny joke. You could have said, well, actually, tomorrow we're talking to Dan Orlovsky, and then I would have said, no, I said a good backup quarterback. Oh, wow. But I'm saying like one who's really a high, because Dan wasn't a high level backup quarterback. I mean, a Tyrod, like a guy who's really a good backup, a Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? I wonder when they accept that's who I am, and I'm cool with it. Like it's a great living. It's actually among the best livings in some ways.
You're saying it's Steve DeBerg.
Sure.
Yeah.
Steve DeBerg started a bunch too.
Yeah, but I mean, he was like he was a long time.
Well, he was
backup.
the one that came in for Marino when Marino tore his Achilles. He played forever.
He played till he was 45 years old.
The Jet backup quarterback they brought in just to be like the assistant coach.
Josh McCown.
And he just got fired.
Yeah, and he was making $10
Carolina.
million a year.
Josh got $10 million.
And got fired as the quarterback's coach in Carolina.
This was sent to me on Twitter. The Urban Dictionary says the origins lie in New York City for Herb.
Oh, that's what I said. Let's talk about it.
And a national commercial campaign by Burger King where it stated, "Don't be a Herb, get the Whopper." In the Herb was the combination of a nerd and moron.
But that would be a murd.
Wait, a Herb was a nerd?
And a moron. To me, that would be a murd.
There's no Herb there. The Herb isn't there. There's no B. It's not a boron.
I'm just telling you what
and there's no H.
That doesn't make sense. But
well, that's the Urban Dictionary. You're gonna have to take it up with them.
Will you look
David Stewart sent it.
Will you get if you get a chance, Don? Go on YouTube. Something Michael. I can't ask Michael for this, and see if that commercial exists up there. See if the Burger King Herb commercial exists. That would be fascinating. Question for you: do you think Jacoby Brissett has accepted that this is his fate?
Yes.
He's not going to get a team again, probably.
Cool with it.
And you think he's good with it? It's like if I can get $7-8 million bucks, I hang out, If I play, I play. I just wonder if they're always dreaming about the moment still, or whether they're just like, hey, this is a great gig.
I think LL Cool J said it best. I'm cool like that.
No, that was not LL Cool J who said that. It was Diggable Planets.
Well, there you go.
It was unfortunate.
You really know music.
Well, where do I know that from? Because why would I know it? That's outside my
It's
circle
a huge
of trust.
song. Cool Like That by Diggable
So
Planets.
my friend Matt, who's a lawyer,
Rebirth of Slick,
said song titles are generally not protected from copyright suits. Unlike lyrics, they're generally not considered sufficiently creative expression. But the song title is a lyric. I'm in a New York state of mind.
But this is the title. He didn't say it in the song.
He didn't say New York state of mind at all in the song. So it would have been easy for him to just name it something else.
Yeah, but why would you name it something else? You don't
New
have
York
to.
Herb, maybe.
Let's.
There's plenty. There's an explosion of Herb
commercials.
All from like 85.
All right, let's hear the commercial.
So we're gonna get it.
We have one here. I think.
Herb, no matter what you decide, you're still our little boy.
Grow up, Herb. With the help of Herb's parents, Burger King now appeals to Herb, the one man who's never tasted a Burger King burger. Herb, this is how great burgers are made. Flame-broiled, not fried.
Aren't you hungry for Burger King?
Of course you are. Herb, do what's good for you. Come to Burger King.
There's a word for someone who doesn't do what's good for them.
The word is Herb, Mother.
Wow. We're doing this is entomology. Isn't that what you call it?
This is real work.
We're doing the work right now. What? I never knew that's where Herb came from.
What an incredible...
It's a great origin
source of
story.
information.
It's an origin story is what it is.
Yeah. Wow, this was the episode you can't afford to miss. How about this? No, but I think you need the whole part before it, because I said... It's a lovely lady, and then Don went, So just my thoughts. Let's move along. Let me hear from Dak Prescott. How does it feel, Dacky Dak, to be in the MVP conversation?
What I say to myself is I haven't done you know what I mean? It's regular season, numbers are great, we're getting wins, that's what's most important, but at the end of the day, we're trying to stack and keep growing this team to make sure that we're getting better each and every week.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Oh, our favorite guy.
Who?
Micah Parsons on his podcast, The Edge, talking about whether or not he agrees with Tom Brady's criticism of today's soft NFL.
Offensive player.
Without a doubt, 100% agree. The league has went more into the offensive league, and I just don't think it's the same love and protection towards defensive players at that. There's players and there's teams that takes advantage of these rules. Quarterback can run at you full speed one play and give himself up, and then the next time act like he's sliding, or you may think he's about to slide and he could juke out, and you go with the same energy and you hit him because you don't know if he's fake sliding or he is sliding, and you might get a penalty, and you might get a letter in the mail because you late hit this quarterback. I just think it's outright ridiculous. Like, you either can hit the guy or you can't. You're playing football at full speed. You're not playing football at 50%. I 100% agree on what Tom Brady's saying.
I couldn't agree with Michael more.
Yeah,
I mean, because if a quarterback is going to slide, he has to slide every time. Because how does a defender know all of a sudden he's going to lower his shoulder and try to get that extra yard? You can't put the defender on the defense.
That's what the league is. Micah is great. I'm going to say it right now. Is his second year in the league, I think?
No,
third?
No, what's wrong with you?
Maybe 4.
No.
Stand by.
Yeah, he was drafted in the Zach Wilson year. So this is Zach's third year, right?
So third year.
Yeah.
Either way, he's a kid, right? He's like 24 years old, 23 years old. 24? Whatever hype there has been about like, oh, this guy's going to make such a great broadcaster, I will say right now, and Don and I, we're the only ones talking about it, the only ones brave enough. Micah Parsons, for an active player, has the most potential to be an interesting broadcaster that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of broadcaster,
to be 24 and talk that way, he speaks with such conviction.
I don't know if this is on your docket of things to talk about, but Greg Olson, the lead broadcaster on Fox,
he's got to do something about the hair. But
he is interested in the Carolina Panthers job, the head coaching job.
Yeah.
So that tells me he knows that Brady's taking his job. Because he's making $10 million a year as the number one guy. If Brady comes, he gets dropped down to the second team, he goes to $5 million. If he's looking to get a head coaching job, you know Brady's definitely coming. There's been some doubt that Brady would actually ever do the broadcasting. He is.
Well, Olsen probably won't get $5 million a year to go be a first-time head coach. Maybe it just means he wants to be a head coach that
but you'll get around $5 million.
Is that what the average would go for?
I mean, the great coaches are getting, 10. Belichick makes 20.
Don, you really got it hit it on the head with the grown-up Stifler. I mean, he looks like such a child with his hair sometimes. He looks like a pumpkin pie haircutted freak.
Wow.
And then there's that promo where it's a wig and he's trying to be Terry Bradshaw. Did you see that one?
Yeah, but I probably couldn't tell it was a wig because
you couldn't tell.
I did see maybe that, and I was like, is that a wig?
Those are really good commercials because Burkhart's great deadpan in all of them.
Although I sent you guys a text this week, and I know we love Kevin.
You didn't like how he dressed.
He's had a few moments like that.
No, but I didn't mind it because it was like a maroon shirt. It was autumnal for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but he already had the maroonish suit. You didn't need to go full.
Yeah, I stand with Kevin.
With Burkhart?
Yeah.
No, I'm
He's
good.
no Herb.
Well, you can.
It just
was be critical.
Yeah, I'm just being.
Not to Kevin.
Stand that guy.
Not to Kevin.
I know in this world, you're either in or you're out.
I'm in on Kevin Burkhart.
Well, so am I.
I was in when he was an update guy at the Fan.
Listen, I'm a fan of his.
I worked with him.
Wasn't into the shirt.
I know him well.
So last night, I don't know if you guys know, but everyone's favorite quarterback sweetheart, Josh Dobbs, had a rough night at the office.
He's not a quarterback sweetheart anymore. He might be benched.
1 touchdown, 4 picks, 22 of 32. Not what you want. Kevin O'Connell asked, will there be a QB change?
We're going to take a look, really evaluate, the inventory of plays now we have of Josh. We got healthy. We got Jaron back, available to us, and then Nick Mullins is available as well. Look, I think what Josh Dobbs has really done is coming in here on short notice and really, going, 2-2 in a stretch where, a lot of people might have thought Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson being out, the deck stacked against us. That's not the way this team thinks. That's not the way we operate. It's not the way I operate. We're trying to go out and win every football game we play.
I mean, listen, he wasn't awful in the loss against Denver. Yesterday he was bad, but I saw at least 2 of the picks that he threw were bounced off people's hands.
But when you've been on 3 different teams in 1 year, there's a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hold on now. What was the first team again?
He got released by the Browns.
In the preseason?
Mm-hmm. Right before the season began, then goes to Arizona.
Starts.
But
there's a reason he was let go in Arizona. They moved on from him because they were bringing back Kyler Murray.
He's been bounced around a lot, is what I'm saying. He's not a great player.
No, but
great player, no. But considering what this team is, I would be surprised that you'd try to move on at this point. He's 2-2. Don, how much better were they going to do than 2-2 over those 4 games?
I know, but last night was tough. But you're right; it wasn't all his fault. But you scored 10 points against Chicago.
Now, Michael, this is a sad thing that's going to make you happy.
What?
Last night, my friend, who's been doing quite well with his picks, and he did give me a gem in the Packers that I laid off on Thanksgiving, Ballard. Had a 19-leg parlay.
Really?
And he's a fool.
He's done really well this year with his stupid
Nobody
parlays.
hits 19.
Yeah, but 19 is...
listen, it's a little bit crazy. But keep in mind, most of them are these are all very low odd parlays, right? So, like, some of them will be like for a team to win, a money line win, and it's minus 800.
Tell your story. You got 45 seconds.
He had a 19-leg parlay. He had 18 straight. Number 19 to net him a couple $1,000 was a Justin Fields passing touchdown. Not one.
Oh, and not in the red zone plenty of times.
Plenty of times, including at the end of the game. That'll do it for ENN, brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com. Go to see Michelle Scalise, grab a t-shirt. Come get some during their Black Friday sales event. And remember,
New York.
Well, we'll be in New York tomorrow at the NHL store. Come drop by, say hello.
Say hello.
We've got Steve Sharippa there, Carl Banks, special guest, Dan Orlovsky. Please come by, 33rd and 96th.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, our coverage of the Nets and Raptors in the final game of the in-season tournament comes your way with the pregame show for all of us here on the Michael K. Show. This is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.